Hello guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Izuku has an evolved version of One for All, Deku x Momo, part 4. So before we start, go check out the author of this fanfic, Ultimate Dankness 112, link is in the description, also subscribe to our channel, and like this video, so let's begin the video. UA, Tuesday. Izuku and Momo were walking towards their class, talking about studies and class-related things when he was called to the principal's office by Mick. Izuku Yagi is the most promising student of UA till date, more than even All Might, the principal announced as he entered. Please have a seat. Izuku then took the seat opposite to the principal. I know you have questions as to why I brought you here, but first let me show you something. Nezu pointed towards the screen and began playing some news clips. The first clip was of a reporter asking a question to an adult of age 23 to 25. So what are your thoughts on Izuku? Izuku? Oh, the boy who saved all those people from the bridge collapse. Yeah, he seems like a good kid. I'm not worried about our future if he becomes a fully fledged hero. He then played another clip. This time it was a woman in her 30s. What's your opinion on the USJ attack after seeing what one of the students can do? I'm not worried anymore. If only one of those students can save these many lives, I don't have to imagine what a full class of them could do. He changed to another news clip. This time it was a policeman. Officer, what is your take on the UA heroic student? No wonder the villains weren't able to harm any student. The next generation of heroes look promising. Izuku, you have not only saved your class, teachers, and those people caught up in the disaster, you also saved and raised UA's reputation as a school, for that I'll remain grateful for as long as I'm the principal, and even beyond that too. Thank you, sir, but I don't think I'm the only one who should be praised. That day, when the attack happened, nearly every student held out on their own. They fought and won against the villains like I did. As for the disaster thing, anyone who wanted to become a real hero would have done what I did. Nezu smiled. You better hurry, your class will be starting shortly. Okay. Meanwhile, in 1A. Hey, did everyone watch the news about the attack? Toru asked. A couple of students grunted. Did you see how all of us were on screen for a second? Yeah, Ejiro replied. I didn't stand out at all, she said, putting her invisible head on the desk. But man, all the channels made a big deal about it, Kaminari commented. I wasn't surprised, Kirishima added. It's their job. But could you blame them, Jiru said, playing with her earjacks. The hero course, which keeps pumping out pro heroes, was attacked. Who knows what would have happened if Yagi didn't reach when he did. Would you stop that, Zero? Mineta said, teary-eyed. Just thinking about it's making me wet myself. Speaking of whom, did all of you watch the news on Saturday? Kirishima shouted. Yeah, holy shit, the rep was freaking amazing, Kaminari replied. Yeah, I guess he wasn't lying when he said that he was as strong as All Might, Jiru added. And the way he saved those people, you know, I watched and re-watched All Might's debut video and Yagi's video. The final time he walked out of the fire was nearly identical to All Might's when he came out of the fire, Toru said. Yeah, I know, right? He also saved 71 people in 7 minutes, like how All Might saved 100 people in 10 minutes, Uraka said. Yeah, it's like he is somehow related. Shut the fuck up, you scum. But man, the rep was freaking great. He pushed back those villains like it was nothing. And also saved those people like a piece of cake, Sato said. Yes, his strength is worth wondering about, Takeyomi agreed. Speaking of which, where is he? Sayu asked. He's in the office, the principal called him, Momo answered. A few minutes later, Izuku entered the classroom, surrounded and complimented by most of the students. Alright everyone, calm down and go back to your seats. Homeroom is about to start, Izuku commanded, and everyone listened. Sayu, who do you think is gonna take the homeroom today? Mina asked, tilting her chair. Well, Aizawa-sensei is supposed to be in the hospital, recovering his wounds. Sayu didn't get to complete her sentence as the door opened. Good morning, the mummy, Aizawa said in his same monotone and disinterested tone while walking towards his desk. Mr. Aizawa, you're back too soon. Almost the whole class said in unison. You're too much of a pro, a terrified Kaminari said. Sensei, are you alright? Iida asked, raising his arm. Can you really call him alright? Uraka commented. My well-being doesn't matter, although I must first thank Yagi for saving my life. Yagi, if you stick to your morals, you'll definitely become a great hero one day, he said with 1% emotion. I was just doing my job, Sensei, Izuku replied. Now with that out of the way, the fight is not over yet. Fight? Bakugo questioned. Don't tell me the villains attacked again, Mineta said. The UA Sports Festival was drawing near. As soon as those words left Aizawa's mouth, the whole class began shouting. That's a super normal school event, most of the students said in unison. The sports festival. Now that's a super. Kirishima was interrupted by Kaminari's hand on his face. Wait a minute. Is it okay to have the sports festival so soon after the attack? What if they attack us or something? Ichiro asked. Apparently, it's a method of showing that our crisis management system is solid as a rock by holding the event. Moreover, I'm more than confident that your class rep can take care of any villain attack, considering that he is stronger than All Might. Stronger than All Might, the students shouted, including Bakugo and Todoroki. Yes, and it's been confirmed by All Might himself after he watched the CCTV footage. If only they knew I'm not as invincible as they see me to be. I guess I'll have force my body and quirk and live up to their expectations. All the students were in shock, and Bakugo looked like he was beheading a parrot. Not only does Deku have all the fame, now he is as strong as All Might. No, I can't let that happen. I need to be stronger than that waste of space. He's just a pebble that I can kick out of the way, a piece of fucking trash. I know you're somehow connected or related to All Might, Yagi. Even though he is not your father, I will find out what that connection is. Besides, the security will be strengthened to 5 times that of previous years. Above all, our sports festival is a huge chance. It's not an event that's to be cancelled because of a few villains. But that's a good reason, isn't it? It's just a festival of sports, Mineta asked, trembling. Our sports festival is one of Japan's biggest events. In the past, the country was crazy about the Olympics, but they're just a shell of their former glory. And now, for Japan, what has taken the place for those Olympics is the UA Sports Festival. Aizawa said with some form of excitement. Of course, all the top heroes from around the country will be watching for scouting purposes. Momo said, clutching her fist. I know that. After we graduate, we will join a pro hero agency as a sidekick. A lot of people miss their chance to become independent after that and become eternal sidekicks, though. Kaminari, I feel like you'd be one of them since you're dumb, Jiro said, completely destroying Kaminari's confidence. Of course, joining a famous hero agency will get you more experience and popularity. Time is less. If you expect to go pro, then the path of your future will open up at this event. 1 chance a year. 3 chances in total. No aspiring hero can afford to miss this event. If you understand that, then don't slack off on your preparations. Aizawa said with 7% excitement. Yes sir. Lunchtime. Even though that stuff happened, I'm getting really excited. Kirishima declared. If we put on a good show and stand out, we'll have taken our first step at becoming a pro hero, Shiro commented. It was worth coming to UA. Sato added. We will only receive a few chances, we cannot afford to miss this. Tokoyami said. Oh, dear, what'll I do? I stand out by standing still, so the scouts won't be able to stop looking at me, right? You're so lucky, Shoji, your bronze stands out on its own. There's no point if I don't show them my usefulness. I think you'll stand out too, Jiro said, trying to hold back her laughter. Why couldn't you have reached the entrance a little later that day? But someone who will definitely stand out is the rep. Yeah, I think most of the requests will go to him, Kaminari and Jiro said. Everyone will get a fair chance at standing out. You'll only have to try hard and overcome your weaknesses, Momo encouraged. Kirishima, Jiro, Mina, Kaminari, Iida and Izuku stared at her. Yes, it's time to get fired up and stand out, Iida said, doing the robot dance. Iida, you have a very weird way of getting fired up, Sayu commented. Aoi Rozu, when did you become this inspiring? Jiro. I think you've been spending too much time with Yagi. By the way, what is that you're wearing? Mina pointed at the bracelet Izuku bought for her. Oh, it's a gift from someone, Momo said, blushing very faintly. How it looks pretty, very pretty with its onyx and green. Wait a minute. Ashido Yaoi Rozu. Mina was about to test her theory when she was interrupted by a demonic voice. Momo, Mina, Iida, Sayu and Izuku turned around to see Uraraka with a determined, almost evil face. Let's do our best at the sports festival. Uraraka. Your face. Momo wasn't able to finish the sentence. You don't look carefree at all, even though that's what your name means. Mineta was about to say something, but was tongue slapped by Sayu. Everyone. I'm going to do my best. She said, raising her fist. Yeah. Everyone cheered. She then turned to the other side and faced the other students. I'm going to do my best. Yeah. Everyone's sweat dropped. What's wrong? Your personality is all over the place. Shiro asked. Now that I think about it, I've never asked Uraraka about a reason to become a hero, Momo thought. Cafeteria hallway. Uraraka. Momo called out to her. Yes. Why did you decide to come to UA and become a pro hero? It's because of money, she answered, rubbing the back of her neck. For money? Momo, Izuku and Iida were confused. Although they knew her for only a few days, Uraraka never looked like someone who would want to become a hero for money. You want to become a hero for money? Izuku asked. But you don't look like one of those types of heroes, Momo commented. It's for my parents. Parents? My parents own a construction company, but it's not doing too well. I wanted to help them by using my quirk to lift raw materials and lower their need for heavy machinery. But they told me to follow my own dream of becoming a hero. Even though the company was failing, my parents made sure that I had a fulfilled childhood. That's why I want to be a hero. I want to help people, that's for sure. But I also want to make money so that my parents can have an easy life. She's not just aspiring to be a hero, she's also taking reality into consideration, Izuku thought. Sorry if I sound selfish. No, you're not selfish at all, Momo interrupted. You know, in a sense you're like me. Everyone looked at her. My parents provided me with everything I could have asked for, and more, so I want to make them proud. I want to make them proud by helping those in need. After a few seconds of silence, Iida began clapping. Bravo, Uraraka. Bravo, Yaoi Rozu, both of you have such admirable goals, bravo. Wait, Yagi, even you didn't tell us about your aspiration of becoming a hero. Me? Oh, I want to become a hero because it's the right thing to do, Izuku said simply. Young Izuku is here. All of them turned around to see All Might. It's All Might, Uraraka exclaimed. What's the matter? Izuku asked in a disinterested tone. I have something very important that I have to discuss with you, Izuku thought for a second before deciding to go with him. You guys go on ahead, I'll join you shortly, and don't forget to save a seat for me. Okay. Teacher's Lounge. Izuku silently followed All Might to the teacher's lounge. Izuku entered the room and saw that Titan and Kitsuki were also there. Then All Might turned back to his normal self. I know you are still mad at us, but before you say anything, please hear us out. Okay. We are extremely sorry for what you went through. Both of us are truly sorry that we didn't pay any attention to how you were treated in school. We are sorry for not being there for you when you needed us the most, his mother apologized. What are you trying to say? We're saying please give us another chance, please come back to us. We know we messed up. I messed up. Toshinori pleaded. I also want to give you my quirk. It'll help you become the #1 hero. Everyone who knows about my quirk agreed that you should be the one to inherit it. You're the only candidate everyone, including me, approves of. After a few moments of silence, Izuku began to speak. Do you really think it's that simple? You'll just say sorry and I'll just accept you back into my life. No, I don't need you anymore. I have friends and other people who actually care for me. At least I know that they won't just leave me alone for a few months and act as if nothing's wrong. At least they won't forget my birthday or let me spend my Christmas alone. Each and every word felt like bullets, and they hurt because all of them were true. And didn't you say I don't have what it takes? What I said was foolish. You wanted to be a hero for such a long time. You never gave up even after we discouraged you, but I didn't see it, Toshinori said, looking down. I don't want or need your quirk, Izuku said in a very cold tone. Whatever I become, I'll do it using my own quirk. My own strength. I don't need any extra help, especially not from you. Izuku got up and walked towards the door. Please Izuku, we would do anything for you, just give us a final chance. He stopped. Will you show your true form to the world for me? Of course you won't. I don't know or care who you give your quirk to. But all I'm going to say is if you give it to Bakugo, then all of the good deeds of the previous holders of One for All will go to waste. The only thing that Kitsuki wants is fame and money. If you don't believe me, then go and ask anyone from his junior high class. Kitsuki was very angry at this point. What did you say, you nerd? Both the older Yagis were looking at him. Bakugo wanted to say something, but decided not to. Fine, I'll become the #1 hero even with One for All. By all means please do. I'll not stop you from taking the #1 spot because honestly, I don't want to be #1. This confused the three of them. I'm going to become legendary A rank, that is beyond reach for you. Oh, and the sports festival is in 2 weeks. Others call it one of the greatest events of Japan, but for you it'll be known as the humbling of Kitsuki Bakugo. I won't just beat you in every single game, I'll humiliate you, he said before leaving. All Might turned to look at Bakugo. If what Izuku was saying is right, then I'm afraid I cannot give you my quirk. Fine, Bakugo scowled. Gran Torino, you're the only one who can fix this, the older Yagis thought. Meanwhile, in the cafeteria. I wonder what Izuku Momo said. All Might was present when Izuku saved all those people. Perhaps he wanted to congratulate or thank him. Oh yeah, remember how proudly All Might was talking about Yagi when the reporters asked how he knew his name. Also, Izuku did say that their quirks are similar. Maybe All Might has taken a liking to him. Momo concluded. All Might and Izuku Yagi Todoroki thought. You know, I have recently noticed something about you, and Yagi Mina said looking at Momo. And what would that be? Momo knew she was onto her the moment she saw the bracelet. Both of you have been using your first names when talking to each other, and also, the color of the bracelet is onyx, and green. Ida, Jiru, Uraraka, and Sai were looking at her. I have no clue what you are talking about. Ha! There's something between you two. Momo knew there was no way out. Moreover, she knew that she was a bad liar. Fine, you got me. Girl, you have to give me all the details. Not that loud. Okay. Final period, 1A. All the students of 1A were about to go home. There were many students blocking the door. Apparently, they came to see the class that was attacked by the villains, and also the student who got famous before the UA Sports Festival. What's going on? Uraraka asked. What business do you have with 1A? We can't get out, what did you come here for anyway? Ida asked to do the robot hands followed by Mineta. They're here to scout out the enemy, small fry. Some of the students' sweat dropped. We're the ones who made it out of the attack. They probably want to check us out before the sports festival. There's no point in doing stuff like that. Out of the way, extras. Stop calling people extras just because you don't know them. Ida popped up from behind doing the hand thing. I came to see the great class 1A, but you seem pretty arrogant. A boy with purple hair said while making his way through the crowd. Are all the students of the hero course like this? I think that Yagi is like him too. No, it's just him, Ida said from inside the class. Seeing something like this makes me disillusioned. There are quite a few people who enrolled in general course or business course because they didn't make it to the hero course. But the school did leave us a chance. Depending on the results of the festival, they'll transfer one of us to the hero course. And it seems they may transfer people out of the hero course. Scouting for the enemies. No, I come with a declaration of war. Well, thanks to our resident asshole, everyone hates us, Izuku said walking towards the crowd. It doesn't matter as long as you rise to the top, Bakugo said as he left. That's so simple and manly. He just made pointless enemies, Jiru said. Yup, Mina agreed. Anyways, I want apologies for the behavior of my classmate here. It will be very much appreciated if all of you forget that this encounter ever happened. Izuku bowed. Maybe I was wrong about you. After which the crowd began to clear up. But Bakugo is right. Everyone will be gunning for the top spot. Ida, Momo, Uraraka, and everyone from our class. All of them have their own motives, their own goals. I guess I'll have to be selfish this time. The UA Sports Festival will take place 2 weeks from now. I'll have to use every second to better myself. Then, 2 weeks of intense training began. For everyone. Momo trained her endurance, Ida trained his speed, Uraraka trained to increase her weight capacity, Bakugo trained to increase the size of his explosion, Sai trained her underwater abilities, etc. Izuku trained his flight and maneuver ability. He trained in an artificial G simulator to withstand up to 8 Gs while flying. He told Momo to keep it a secret so that he could fly. Izuku also trained his body to not break itself. Although he wasn't able to use his solar or Jupiter impacts without breaking his body, he did master his Saturn impacts. He also practiced with his healing ability and made it efficient by learning how to direct the healing particles to only his injured body parts rather than his entire body, thus increasing his endurance tenfold. And just like that, the 2 weeks were over. UA. The bag check taking forever, one of the reporters said. They were attacked by villains. Of course they'll be more strict. Some people are still criticizing their decision to hold it this year even after Saturday's disaster. Controversy equals ratings. Class 1 will be the ones most people will watch, especially Izuku Yagi, the reporter said with renewed vigor. Usually people would watch the third-year games with the most amount of interest, but this year, it'll be the first years who will get the most attention. Did you know Endeavor's son is also a first-year student? No way. Want a waiting room? Oh man, I wanted to wear my hero costume, Mina whined. To keep everything fair, we can, Ajiro answered. I wonder what the first round would be. Is everyone ready? We're about to enter the stadium, Izuku said, walking into the room. Yagi Todoroki called out. What is it? Everyone was looking at them with interest. You may be stronger than me. And I know that All Might has his eye on you. But I am going to defeat you. Holy shit, did Todoroki declare war on Yagi Kaminari? Hey, this is not the best time to pick up a fight. Kirishima tried to stop Todoroki. So what does it matter? We're not here to play as friends, Todoroki replied coldly. In that case, I accept your declaration. Well man, don't take that negatively. I'm also declaring a war on everyone present here, and I'd recommend that all of you do the same. This shocked everyone. The students from the other classes are aiming for the top. And, if all of you want the top spot, you'll have to fight for it. Every one of us are friends till the end, no matter what, but today, right now, once we step into the stadium, we are all enemies and rivals. So I want all of you to give everything you've got. Remember what I said on the first day of school, that all of you can beat me? Yeah, that is still true. But Izuku gave the same cocky grin from the first day. As I said before, I won't make it easy for you. Everyone was cheered up by Izuku's words. But Bakugo scowled. So, is everyone ready? Izuku shouted. Yeah. All of them, leaving out Bakugo and Todoroki, responded. Let's go. Stadium. Hey. The huge screens turned on and President Mick greeted everyone. And the audience was in an uproar. Pay attention, audience. This year's high school rodeo of adolescence that you all love, the UA Sports Festival, is about to begin. Everybody, are you all ready? It's time for students to enter the first year stage. Many of the top pros like Best Jeanist, Endeavor, Titan, and Orca were present there today. They, along with the rest of the audience, were looking at the entrance from where the heroes of tomorrow will enter the stadium. The entrance of the first one as students were met by cheers and applause from the audience. But as soon as Izuku entered the stadium, everyone was cheering for him. The top pros were looking at him with interest, especially Endeavor. He too saw the news live on Saturday and couldn't help but feel suspicious. They couldn't wait to see Izuku demonstrate his strength. These are the miraculous new stars that manage to overcome enemy attacks with their hearts of steel. Class 1A. And leading them is their class rep, the most promising student since All Might Izuku Yagi. Mick said as the fireworks were going off. He's going overboard with the praise, Izuku said. So much for standing out, Kaminari said. Yeah, Yagi is getting all the attention, Mineta agreed. You'll have plenty of chances. Izuku tried to reassure them. Will we be able to give our best performance being watched by so many people? I'm getting nervous. Kirishima said, sweating a little. Aren't you, Bakugo? No, I'm just getting into it. We'll see who's stronger by the end of today, Deku. They haven't been getting much airtime, but this class is also full of talent. Please welcome. Class 1B. Then one by one, Mick announced all the classes as they entered the stadium. All of UA's first years are here now. Time for the player pledge. The rated hero, Midnight announced. Oh, and this year's chief umpire for the first year is Midnight, one of the pros asked. And the principal. He's at the third year stage every year. What's Midnight Sensei wearing? Kirishima asked, trying to look away. That's a rated hero for you, Kaminari answered. Is it okay for her to be out of high school even though she's rated? Yes, Mineta said, giving an intense thumbs up. Silence, everyone. Midnight commanded, slashing her whip. Representing the students from Class 1 is Katsuki Bakugo. Oh no, now everyone's gonna hate us, Uraraka said. Yup, Mina added. Bakugo then walked to the podium and gave his pledge. Which was everything one expected from him. Followed by boos from the other classes. Every year, many drink their tears here. Now, it's time for the fateful first game. And this year, the first game is an obstacle race. She announced. All 11 classes will participate in this event. The course will be the outer circumference of this stadium, about 4 kilometers or 2.48 miles. Our school's selling point is freedom. It doesn't matter what you do as long as you're in the course, she said, licking her lips. Now, everyone get to the start line. Everyone was walking to the start line when Izuku asked a question to Midnight. Is Midnight, we are allowed to use our quirk any way we want, right? Yes, that would be correct, would you ask? Just needed to clarify. Izuku said, walking towards the crowd of students. Minutes later, everyone was ready. 3, 2, 1 go. Midnight gave them the signal. Everyone ran into the tunnel in a mad rush. Here's the play-by-play. Are you ready for the commentary, Mummy Man Mick said. You're the one who forced me to come, Izawa replied. The camera changed to show the students running into the tunnel. What in the world? It's too narrow. Hey. Watch where you're stepping. So this is the first obstacle. I need to freeze them as soon as I get a little ahead of the crowd. After about 3 minutes of struggling through the tunnel, Todoroki was close enough to the exit and so decided to freeze the ground and made a run for the exit. Freezing the ground, Todoroki? That's too naive. You think I'm gonna let you get ahead of me this easy? You half bastard. Todoroki turned around to see Momo and Bakugo along with most other Wana students following him. Someone who he didn't expect to see was Mineta, who was gaining on him. I've outwitted you, Todoroki. How pathetic. And now, time to use my special move. Mineta was about to use his special move when he was smacked by a robot. The first obstacle has appeared. Robo Inferno. Mick announced. These are the robots from the entrance exams. Kaminari said. There are so many 0-pointers this time. So these are the robots that were used in the entrance exam, Todoroki said to himself. I wonder where they got the money for all of this. If they went through all this trouble, I wish that they would have prepared something better, Todoroki said, preparing his quirk. Since my stupid old man is watching. Todoroki waited for the perfect moment and froze the robots. Look, he froze all robots. Let's go, we can move between the legs. Everyone stop. He froze the robots off balance. Izuku tried to stop them, but everyone ran towards the robots, and seconds later the robots began falling. Todoroki from 1A, he attacked and defended in one move. Such elegance. Mick announced. He's the first one to make it through by defeating the robots. It's, you know, practically unfair. His decisions are logical and strategic, as always said. As expected from a recommended student. He didn't fight them before, but the Robo Inferno couldn't get past his elite move. 2 of the robots fell on Tetsutetsu and Kirishima. But the 2 students were safe due to their quirks. Some students from the support class were about to be attacked by a robot when Saturn impact within seconds the robot's body got destroyed and fell into the ground and a gust of wind was felt by the others. Bakugo didn't bother to look back and decided to destroy the robots blocking his path. Other students of 1 also started to destroy the robots. Sai and a couple of other students were surrounded by robots when Momo made a cannon and destroyed them. The students then made their way to the next obstacle. It was land full of huge chasms and thin rods connecting them. Todoroki made an ice bridge to cross it, Bakugo used his explosions to boost him across the chasms, Momo used her iron staff method, while Izuku jumped from one piece of land to another. A student from the support class used her tools or babies and grappled and flew across the chasms. Then they reached the final obstacle. The minefield. Todoroki used his lead to his advantage and began to run carefully through the field. But quickly changed his plan when he saw Bakugo and some other students. Stop right there you half and half bastard. Bakugo shouted. There was tight competition between the 2. They made it through the minefield and were racing through the tunnel. The race is getting exciting folks. Who will it be to cross the line? Bakugo or Todoroki? And then moments later, Todoroki made it out first. It's Todoroki. I beat Yagi. Damn it, that half and half bastard managed to pull in front. At least I beat Deku. Then one by one other students began emerging from inside the tunnel, the 42nd person being Izuku. Wait, how the hell did Yagi get 42nd position? Kirishima asked. Isn't he the strongest and fastest in the class? Was he holding back to let us win? This got the attention of Bakugo and Todoroki. And both of them were pissed off. The first 42 students have crossed the finish line and will now move on to the next round. The rest better luck next time, the results will be announced soon. Midnight announced. Izuku was talking to Momo when Bakugo and Todoroki walked over to Izuku. Deku, were you fucking holding back throughout the race? Are you looking down on us? Do you think that you'll let us win and we'll accept it? Bakugo and Todoroki asked, clearly angry. What are you talking about? Izuku asked. Don't give me that bullshit, I saw how fast you were at the USJ. Tell me, did you hold back during the obstacle race? I swear on my Momo's life that I wasn't holding back, in fact, I gave it everything without breaking my body. Now do you believe me? I'm swearing on my girlfriend's life. Both of them became at ease after hearing this. Alright everyone, here's the result, Midnight announced. I managed to beat him when he's using everything he can, Todoroki thought. Ha! And what was that you said before? That this festival will be my humbling? You couldn't even finish at the top 30. Bakugo said. Then Todoroki and Bakugo heard a series of whats and hows behind them. Oh, believe me, it is your humbling, and I wouldn't be too sure that I came last if I were you, Izuku smirked. Both of the boys turned around and were instantly shocked by what they saw on the scoreboard. First position. Izuku Yagi. Time taken. 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Second position. Shoto Todoroki. Time taken. 34 minutes and 22 seconds. Third position. Katsuki Bakugo. Time taken. 34 minutes and 21 seconds. All the students, leaving out Momo, were dumbfounded. How? Todoroki asked. Is midnight, is it possible to play the replay? Of course, then all the screens began playing at the beginning of the race. 35 minutes ago. 3, 2, 1 go. Here's the play-by-play. Are you ready for the commentary, mummy man? You're the one who forced me to come. Wait, isn't that Yagi? Why is he still standing there? Mick asked. Izuku then put his hand in his pocket and took out a pair of goggles and wore them. At this point, everyone was confused, even the pros. What's he doing? Genist asked. Maybe he's planning something, Titan said. It's been 20 seconds and Izuku Yagi hasn't moved a bit, Mick said. I need to take off using 40%. Then Izuku activated his quirk. Wait, did you see that? Mick said. See what? Aizawa asked. Zoom in on his feet. Look, the floor has cracks where Yagi is standing. Everyone was watching him. Izuku looked straight at the sun. This is it. Then he jumped, or rather launched himself into the sky, making a crater where he was standing. And began to fly around the circumference of the stadium. After which he landed close to midnight, making another crater. The whole stadium was speechless. Izuku completed the race within 3 minutes. That's a new record. Mick said as everyone looked wide-eyed. He then flew towards the Mick's booth. Sensei. Can you act like nothing happened? I want to surprise the others. Okay. After which Izuku went back into the tunnel. Everyone, including the top pro heroes and the people watching from home, were speechless. VIP stands, few minutes before the race, All Might and Titan walked into the special stands made for the top pro heroes. There they saw many of their old friends and comrades. Genist. How are you? As elegant as ever, he replied. I see you haven't lost your elegant speech. Say, when was the last time we've done a mission together? It's been too long. Congratulations on earning the 4th spot. You keep doing what you do and maybe you'll surpass even me. I'm flattered. All Might and Best Genist and a couple of other top pros were catching up when they heard President Mick announcing that the first years are going to enter soon. So these are the students who survived the attack, Orca commented. Yes, I reviewed the footage. All of them fought with everything they had. They stood up against the villains like pros do. Speaking of which, did any of you manage to find anything about this League of Villains? Titan asked. No. The attack on the USJ was their first reveal. Genist answered. The heroes were talking about the attack when the chanting of a certain name broke their discussion. Izuku. 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 All the pros stood up from their seats and went near the glass window to see the elephant in the room. That's the boy kid who saved all those people, Ed Shaw commented. He's already very popular after what he did that day. People are calling him a real hero, especially since he didn't stay for any news interviews. Yes, I'm very keen on seeing manner of skills he demonstrates today. Orca said, followed by Genist. But there is something I've been wondering. The way that boy saved those people reminded me of All Might's debut. Ryukyu said, getting the attention of everyone and making All Might choke while drinking water. That is true, there were similarities. For instance, the final time he walked out from behind the train, it was just like All Might. Genist agreed. I'm sure it's just a coincidence, All Might said. Besides, he may just be an All Might fan and was imitating him, Titan commented. The Yagis wanted to tell the other heroes that Izuku was their son, but they had to fix the rift between them, not make it larger. They knew Izuku wanted to be known by his own name and not as All Might and Titan's son. Their attention was then directed to the stadium when they heard the announcement that the first game of the festival was about to start. Seems like they decided to begin with an obstacle course this year. Yes, this'll give us an idea of how the students use their quirk to adapt to and overcome different obstacles. 3, 2, 1 go. Here's the play-by-play. Are you ready for the commentary, Mummy Man? You're the one who forced me to come. Wait, isn't that Yagi? Why is he still standing there? What is he doing? Genist asked. Maybe he's planning something, Titan speculated. He is definitely planning something, or at the very least, has a secret up his sleeve. It's been 20 seconds and Izuku Yagi hasn't moved a bit, Mick announced. Well, whatever he is doing, he better do it quickly. Every second counts, Orca said. Wait, did you see that? Mick said. See what? Azawa asked. Zoom in on his feet. Look, the floor has cracks where Yagi is standing. This got the pros' attention. Is he trying to demonstrate his po? Ryukyu didn't get to complete her sentence as Izuku launched himself into the air, leaving behind a crater and a small shock wave. At first, everyone speculated that he was going to jump his way to victory, but that theory went down the drain as Izuku didn't come back down. All the cameras were trying to capture Izuku as he flew over the race course. There were only wows from the crowd and the top heroes watched in silence. The speed capture cameras tracked him and displayed that he was flying with a speed of 120 km/h. After flying above the entire course, Izuku landed near the entrance of the tunnel with enough force that it made a bigger crater since he used 120% to land. After which the teachers, top pros and the crowd were wondering what type of quirk Izuku had. They knew he had super strength and speed, but flying was an entirely different thing. The ability to fly without being born with a mutation type quirk was extremely rare. So much so that flight quirks are almost forgotten. Some speculated that he had multiple quirks as they were also a thing, but extremely rare. Others theorized that Izuku had a super quirk, a quirk that gives the person very powerful and diverse abilities. Izuku Yagi completed the race within 3 minutes. That's a new record. That was unexpected, Genist said. I didn't know he could fly. Izuku then flew to the Mick's booth and requested him to act like nothing happened. After which, he entered the tunnel again. Is he going to do the race again? Ryukyu asked. Sure looks like it, Orca said. After the race. All of the students, with the exception of Momo, were shocked. All this time they thought that they were in front of Izuku, but in truth, he was in front of them, that too by more than 30 minutes. Wow, and we thought he was giving us a chance, Kaminari said. I know, right? He finished the race before we even left the tunnel. One student from 1B said. What kind of a monster is he? A general studies student exclaimed. He's gonna dominate every game today. Well, what's your opinion on Yagi's performance, mummy man? He shattered the previous school record by a mile, Mick asked Izawa. Honestly, even though I was shocked, I'm not that surprised considering Izuku is as strong as All Might. The whole crowd was silent until. What? Nearly the entire crowd shouted in unison. Yes, it is true. All Might confirmed it himself. I need to somehow tell them that I'm not as strong as him, Izuku thought. This shocked everyone, from the top pro heroes to the pros in the stadium to the people watching on TV. VIP stands. Is Eraserhead speaking the truth? Genist asked. Yes, I saw the attack recordings. He fought and defeated 100 villains in a very short amount of time. What was surprising was that he was holding back fighting them. He began to use his full power when he fought against a creature that was made to kill me. He was severely injured when he fought it. Towards the end of the fight, it looked like he was getting bored and began to treat the creature as if it was not a threat. I watched and re-watched the CCTV footage, and the resulting air shift and shock waves from the fight were very powerful. He may even be stronger than me. The top pros were silent. They didn't know what to say. An interesting orca stuttered. He can also heal himself from basically any type of wounds, be it minor or major, Titan remarked. So what you are saying is, Izuku is stronger than All Might and can also heal himself, Ryukyu asked Titan. Yes, Titan affirmed. Stadium. Did Mr. Izawa say that Yagi is as strong as All Might? A 1B student asked. Yeah. There is no way in hell we can beat him. How in the world are first-year students supposed to beat someone an All Might level student? 2 minutes. How? Todoroki was completely shocked. He didn't know what to say. He knew Izuku was strong. He did not, however, believe Izawa when he said that Izuku was as powerful as All Might, but after seeing the results, he was beginning to think that Izawa might be true. Bakugo on the other hand was beyond mad. His face looked like an actual demon. How the fuck can you fly? Answer me. How long have you been hiding? I don't answer to you. Izuku simply cut him off and walked towards the podium where Midnight was calling all the 42 students. The second round of the UA First Year Sports Festival is a cavalry battle. Midnight announced. Let me explain. The participants can form teams of 2 to 4 as they want. It's like a normal cavalry battle, but participants are given a point value according to their previous result of previous. Also, the person who is at the top gets a special ability. The points assigned go up by 5 points. So it starts from the bottom as the last person gets 5 points, then 10, then 15. But the point assigned to the first place is 10 million. 10 million? Izuku deadpanned with wide eyes. He immediately felt the collective glares of 41 very competitive students. He was actually terrified. He wasn't this scared when was about to fail against Nomu. Dum. Well, my heart is still alive, so yay. I guesses. And that's why the top position gets a special ability. They can participate without a team, but it will make it even more difficult for them. So that means, if someone can get the top player, they win regardless of how many points they lose. Everyone said in unison. That's right, it's survival of the fittest, with a chance for those at the bottom to overthrow the top. And only the top 5 teams can make it to the next round. Then Midnight began to explain all the rules to the participants. All of them began forming teams, leaving out Izuku, who was totally deserted. Many students thought of forming a team with him because of him being as powerful as All Might, but decided not to when they recalled that there would be at least 38 students coming for them, which they couldn't do anything about as fighting wasn't allowed. But all of them, including Izuku, overlooked one tiny giant detail: they were free to use their quirks. And as all of them were busy forming their teams, they forgot, even Izuku, that Izuku could fly. Situation check. I am completely deserted. Wait, Momo, I hope she forms a team with me. Izuku walked over to Momo and saw her talking to Uraraka, Mina, and a girl from the support class. Momo, I was wondering if we could form a team. As much as I like you, and I really do like you a lot, you did declare war on me, Momo smirked as Izuku paled. My stupid mouth. Okay. Izuku walked from person to person, but all of them denied him, and soon after the preparation time was over. I guess I'm alone. I wish I could have flown away from here, I completely forgot. Izuku remembered that the participants could do anything as long as he was within the boundary. Alright everyone, step into the zone. Everyone was glaring at Izuku, but he did something that no one expected someone in his place to do, and grin evilly. Hey, is it me or is the class rep grinning wickedly? Uraraka asked. He is definitely grinning. Momo affirmed. It's as if he has an upper hand. Oh, Momo quickly realized why Izuku was grinning. How did I forget that? How did everyone forget that? Alright, listen up, we'll go for others, she told her teammates. What? Why? Mina asked. Everyone will be going for him, and frankly it's useless. He can fly, and the rules say that we can use our quirk however we want. Izuku can fly, and his maximum height is 7,000 meters, and we can't even hope to attain that altitude, even if we have Mei's babies or Uraraka's anti-gravity. Okay, then what's our strategy? Mei asked. We shouldn't really be doing this, but we'll go for the taking candy from a kid's strategy. Aim for all the weaker teams and take their headbands. I feel evil, Mina commented. Izuku walked onto the stage and purposely stood at the center. At ready, 3, 2, 1 start. Midnight shouted. And seconds later, nearly every team was rushing towards Izuku. Momo's team were setting themselves up for a candy-taking spree. But before any of the teams could reach him, he began floating and rose a few meters above the ground. Then everyone remembered. You know, I wanted to give all of you a chance to get this band. Everyone knew where this was going. But everything is fair in love and war. It is midnight, is there a limitation for how high someone can go? No. Izuku then looked at the other teams and smirked. You want this headband, then first find a way to reach 23,000 feet above sea level, he said and launched into the sky. Both Todoroki and Bakugo were feeling a multitude of emotions. Is his truly untouchable? Are my efforts futile? No, I will have to beat him somehow. I will have to show my father that I can reach the top without using his quirk. Todoroki thought. Bakugo became even angrier. First he gets praised by the teachers and students, what's more is that he becomes famous, and on top of that he takes away my opportunity of getting All Might's quirk, and now, he's talking as if people can defeat him only if he allows him. I will ruin your stupid life, Deku, and I will take your so-called legendary rank. Well then, this is new, a first position winner who actually keeps his 10 million point. Why are you still standing? The cavalry battle is still on. Midnight yelled. And then the cavalry battle actually began. Everyone was doing their best, trying to make tactics on the go. Team Momo at some point was getting a lot of points, but all of their points were taken by Bakugo's team when they used brute force. Todoroki and Momo's team were also doing well, but Momo's team managed to pull ahead by a few points when Bakugo was dealing with Momo. Then there was Team Tetsu who was also doing a very good job. Meanwhile, Izuku was above a few clouds, trying to entertain himself, but that was becoming very hard considering there was literally nothing up there for him to do. Well, this sucks, I don't even know when the battle will end. Near the last moments of the game, both Team Momo and Team Bakugo were trying their hardest to get Todoroki's bands. Momo tried to take advantage of Todoroki's resolve to not use his hot side, while Bakugo made a leap to get them, but both were unable to do anything since the time ran out. And that's the end of the second round, folks. The end of the cavalry battle. Mick announced. Now the teams that made it through. 5th place we have Team Tetsu, Team Shinso. When did you come from behind? But all the members of the team were confused, they didn't know where they were or what they did. None of them had any memory about the cavalry game. Thanks for your hard work. Shinso grinned. What happened? Before I knew it, we had 0 points, and it was over. Could it be punishment for taking the small one's point in such an indecent way? I can't accept this. The members of Team Tetsu were beyond depressed. 4th place we have Team Bakugo. 4th place really? Well, at least we made it, Shiro uttered as Kaminari walked around giving 2 thumbs ups. Do you think that's how he feels? Kirishima said as the team turned to look at Bakugo. 3rd place we have Team Yaoirozu. Thanks Momo. If it weren't for you, I don't think we would have gotten this far today. Mina exclaimed. Yeah, that's like getting 2nd place. Uraraka agreed. You even showed how useful my babies were. Mei remarked. I couldn't have done it without all of you. So thank you very much for teaming up with me. Momo thanked her team. In 2nd place we have Team Todoroki. They managed to get 2nd position, even though they had only 3 members in total. Damn it, Yaoirozu nearly made me use my father's side. We would have surely lost the battle if it weren't for Tokoyami and Dark Shadow, they worked for both offense and defense, Ida commented. We would have lost for sure if you didn't use your special move to dodge Yaoirozu's capture net attack, Tokoyami remarked. And finally on the top spot we have the one-man team, Izuku Yagi. But I have to admit, that was very unfair. After a few minutes of waiting, Izuku finally came back down, making a crater where he landed. These 4 teams will advance to the final round. Now we'll have an hour break for lunch before we begin the afternoon festivities. Momo, congratulations that you made it, Izuku said in a lifeless tone. Thanks, but why do you sound like Mr. Izawa? Oh, that may be because I'm dead inside, there was nothing for me to do up there. I think it would have been better if I had stayed down here, Izuku said with a depressed sigh, making Momo giggle. Let's go get something to eat, I'm starving. Izuku and Momo were walking towards the waiting rooms when Izuku was called by Todoroki. Yagi, I need to talk to you about something, Todoroki said with urgency and a hint of anger. Momo, go on in, I'll join you later. Please save a seat for me, Izuku said to her as he walked with Todoroki. So what did you want to talk about? Meanwhile, Hey All Might was walking to the cafeteria when he noticed a certain fiery hero Endeavor. Long time no see, let's catch up on old times, Endeavor. The hero turned around, anger visible on his face. All Might. If you don't hurry up, we'll have to wait in a long line to get our lunch. Izuku spoke, but got no reply from Todoroki. How he gives off a cold intimidation, different than Bakugo. The day of the attack, when you fought against that Nomu, I felt overpowered. Kirishima and Bakugo may have been present, but only I felt it. What are you trying to say? I'm saying that All Might may not be your father, but he is related to you, maybe an uncle or something. I was there once when some villains attacked and were defeated by All Might. And I felt the same type of power coming from you. My old man is Endeavor, and if you are related to All Might, defeating you will mean much more to me. We haven't talked in 10 years. I saw you and thought I'd say hi. I see. Well, you've done so, now leave me. Lunch? Is this a joke? I'm going to the restroom. Began Endeavor was going down the stairs when All Might jumped in front of him. Don't be so cold. Your son, young Shoto, did very well just by using his right side. Is this because of training? What's your point? Why, I want to know how to raise the next generation of heroes. As if I would tell you. You're clueless as ever, and it's getting on my nerves. Sorry. Just remembered this, I will make that into a hero that will surpass you someday. That is why I created him. What are you? He's in a rebellious stage right now, but he will definitely surpass you. I'll make sure that Endeavor declared with anger and left him. My father has a strong desire to rise in the world. As a hero he won a name for himself with crushing force, and so All Might became an eyesore for him. Since he couldn't surpass him, he moved on to his second plan. What are you talking about, Todoroki? What are you trying to tell me? Izuku asked. You've heard of quirk marriages, right? The thing that became a problem during the second and third generation after superpowers showed up. Choosing a spouse based only on strengthening your own quirk and passing it on to your children, forcing people into marriages. He is a man with both accomplishments and money. He used it and won over my mother's relatives, only to get a hold of her quirk. He's fulfilling his own desire by raising me to be the hero to surpass All Might. It's so annoying. I won't be a tool for a scum like him. In all my memories, my mother is always crying. Your left side is unsightly was what she said as she poured boiling water on my face. Izuku was beyond shocked after listening to Todoroki's story. And I thought my childhood was bad. I basically picked a fight with you to show him what I can do without using my damn old man's quirk. No, I will reject him completely by winning first place without using it. I don't care that you can't tell me how you're connected to All Might. I will rise above you with only my right side. Sorry for wasting your time, Todoroki said. I wanted to tell the people that I'm not as strong as All Might today after the festival, but I need to help Todoroki. The path that he has chosen will only lead him to despair and self-anguish. I need to save him from himself. You can't, Izuku spoke up just as Todoroki was about to leave. What? You cannot defeat me or All Might by using only half of your strength. No matter how much you try, no matter how much you train, Izuku said as he walked outside, not bothering to look back. And let me remind both of you, I defeated a genetically engineered creature whose only purpose was to kill All Might. Todoroki was confused. Both of you? I know you're there, Bakugo. Todoroki turned to see Bakugo walking out from the corridor. How did you know? Why do I want to become a hero? Izuku asked, looking at the sky. If it's only to get back at your father for what he has done, then frankly you don't deserve to be here. Todoroki was about to say something, but his statement was silenced. You know, my whole life, I wanted to become a hero, someone who would help people in need and fight evil, but everyone, my parents, teachers, and classmates discouraged me. They thought that I was delusional. Why? Todoroki asked. I was quirkless. My quirk didn't develop until last year, and because of that, I was bullied and beaten down by my so-called classmates, and the teachers just ignored it. If you don't believe me, then ask Bakugo. Hell, even my parents ignored and neglected me. I think they were ashamed of the fact that I was quirkless. I spent most of my birthdays and Christmases alone. By the time I was 13, I had no friends. People began to look down on me because of my quirklessness, and I hated myself for it. Day after day, the hope of being a hero began to diminish until finally, the previous role model shattered it. All Might himself told me that I couldn't become a hero no matter how much I tried. He told me that I did not have what it takes to become a hero. But look at me now. This time, Todoroki was shocked. Never in 100 years did he expect All Might, of all people, to break someone's dream. It may look like that I too came here to show him that I can become a hero, but no. The only reason I came here was because it was my goal to study at UA. My reason to become a hero is not to prove something to All Might or my parents or even Bakugo. No, I came here because of one man. He was the first person who believed in me. He had faith in me when I didn't have myself. He said that I had the qualities of a great hero. What those qualities are I have no idea till date. But most importantly, he gave me back my ambition. The ambition I lost when All Might destroyed my dream. The ambition of becoming a hero for the sake of becoming a hero. Not for revenge or money or fame or to rebel against someone who has mistreated you, but for helping others. I know that my childhood wasn't as bad as yours, Todoroki. But if you're here for any of those reasons and nothing else, then I suggest you pack your stuff and leave. You have no right to study in this institution. Izuku said as he left the two students. Was that too aggressive? Nah, I think that'll give Todoroki something to think about. After lunch break. Now that the lunch break is over, it's finally time to reveal the last game. But before that, there's good news for all the participants who didn't make it to the final round. This is a sports festival, and so have prepared recreational games that everyone can participate in too. We've even brought cheerleaders from the US to liven things. What are they doing? Aizawa uttered. Everyone looked at one. Girls dressed up as cheerleaders. What's the matter with Class A? What kind of fan service is that? Mick exclaimed. Mineta. Kaminari. You tricked us, didn't you? Momo shouted as the two were giving each other thumbs ups. Why am I always caught up in Mineta's schemes? I even used creation to make the outfits, Momo said, kneeling down while Uraraka patted her back. Then she saw Izuku looking at her with slightly red cheeks and trying not to laugh. But gave her a thumbs up and mouthed, "You look hot." Which annoyed her and made her blush. Those guys are so dumb. Jiru shouted angrily. Well, there is still time, and it would be a pain if things got tense. It's fine. Let's do it. What? You really like this, huh? Alright. Let's have fun during the recreational games. Mick announced. When that's over, the 16 from the second round that made it to the final round will compete tournament-style 1v1 matches. The last round we fought one-on-one, huh? This is it. A chance to stand on the podium and get noticed. 1v1 huh, Izuku, don't think that I'll hold back if we have to fight. I know all of your weaknesses and I will exploit them, Momo smirked. Wait. The class rep has weaknesses, Kaminari asked. Please. You have to tell us those. Jiru begged. Not happening, those are national secrets, Momo simply stated, much to the disappointment of the others. Well, if we do have to fight each other, I'll just kiss you until you submit. Izuku smirked, making Momo turn into a tomato. So bold, everyone's sweat dropped, even Midnight. Shut up. Momo screamed, covering her face. Then Midnight announced the rules, and everyone pulled out lots. Ejiro and Shota withdrew, and Tetsutetsu and Ibaraka joined. Everyone was getting into the recreational games. Izuku looked at the screen and saw that his first battle was against a person named Shinso. That's the guy from General Studies. Izuku said, looking at Shinso, who walked towards him. Looking forward to the first match. Izuku was about to reply, but was stopped by Ejiro's tail. After which Shinso grinned and left. Ejiro, what's the matter? Don't answer him, I need to tell you something about him. Okay. It'll be sooner than expected, come Yagi, I'll defeat you with this hand first, then think about why I'm here. Let's have fun with the recreational games. Mick announced. First, the scavenger hunt. Even if they were told to have fun, the ones in the tournament couldn't relax. Some polished their strategy against their opponent, some tried to keep their presence of mind, some prepared for the fight, while others sharpened their senses, and the rest tried to calm their nerves, and before they knew it, the time had arrived. Hey guys. Are you ready? Mick question was met with overwhelming cheers. A lot has happened, and it all comes down to this. A serious battle. Izuku was about to walk out when he saw Momo running towards him with his phone. Though I missed you here, someone named Jay Faulkner called you. Momo said as he handed him his phone. Hello. Izuku. Congratulations on getting first place in both rounds. All the board members are watching and rooting for you. Thanks. Well, all the best. It seems like they're calling your name, so go get him, Faulkner wished him and hung up. Thank you for bringing this. No problem. Izuku was about to leave when Momo pulled him into a kiss. Good luck and make sure you win. She said and ran the other way. Izuku was standing speechless, like the first time he kissed her. After a few seconds, he heard his name being called out by Mick and walked outside. That will never get old, and now time to take out my confident game face. Audience. The finals are finally starting. Match number 1. We have the boy who saved 71 people in 7 minutes. From the hero course. Izuku Yagi. Versus. Sorry, he hasn't done anything to stand out yet. Hitachi Shinso. The rules are simple, force your opponent out of bound or immobilize them. You can also win by making your opponent say I give up. Bring on the injuries, recovery girl is on standby. Put your morals and ethics aside for the moment. But of course anything life-threatening will not be allowed. Cementus will stop you if things go too far. I give up huh? This is a fight to test the strength of your spirit. Ready? That's Monkey was going on about his pride. Start. But don't you think he was dumb for throwing away his chance? This made Izuku's blood boil and he forgot what Ejiro warned him about. Why you Izuku stopped in his tracks. I win Shinso smirked. Student stands. I went through all the trouble of warning him too. Ejiro knew what had happened. What are you talking about Ejiro? Ida asked. That guy has a mind-controlling quirk, he used it on me during the cavalry battle. What? Is there a way to undo the mind control? Momo asked with concern. No, there's no way. I regained control only when someone bumped into me. Then Deku's done for. Bakugo smirked wickedly. Hey. What's the matter? The match has just started and Yagi is just standing there with a blank expression. Is this Shinso's quirk? He didn't stand out at all, but could he turn out to be someone amazing? Itachi Shinso of General Studies has gotten the better of the one and only Izuku Yagi from Hero Course. Who could have imagined this? Will the bottom really overthrow the top? That's why I said this year's practical exam was irrational. Azawa said holding Shinso's application form. Huh? Here's some basic data on him. Shinso failed the practical exam for the hero course. But he also applied for general education. He knew that something like this would probably happen. His quirk is a very powerful one, but since the exam required him to fight foe villains, his quirk was useless as it didn't have a physical attribute. He wouldn't have been able to score points. You're lucky that you've been blessed, Izuku Yagi. Now turn around and walk out of bounds. And Izuku did as he said. What? Yagi's being so obedient. Everyone, including the top pro heroes, were speechless. What the hell? Why are my legs moving on their own? Damn it, Ejiro warned me, but I still fell for it. My vision is so cloudy, mind is so fucking foggy. He asked me to win this for him too. Damn it. Stop. No, stop. There was a war going on inside Izuku's mind. He had to figure something out, and fast. Only a few feet more, and he's done for. Everyone was on the edge of their seats by now. Izuku was doing everything he could, but nothing worked. He tried to use cake and RSE, but it was all in vain. His body didn't respond to his conscious mind. You probably don't understand, but even with a quirk like this I have my own dreams. So go and lose for me, Shinso stated. Damn it. This fast. Even though everyone is counting on me. All the heroes, they're all expecting great things from me. Izuku was on the verge of giving up when decided to give one last push to move his body one final effort. Then everything froze and he saw someone through the fog and mist standing at the entrance of the inner stadium. Izuku tried to focus and was surprised to see that it was Schmidt or something that looked like him. He was standing there, but his eyes were glowing bright blue. Is this my mind playing tricks on me? Then something weird happened. The sky began to glow bright gold and 8 shadowy figures walked out from behind his mentor. He was sure that one of the figures was his father and another figure had his mother's haircut. They began walking towards him and after reaching his position all of them touched his chest where his heart is and then all of them lifted him up skywards as if to throw him into the sky. Then the fog from his vision began to clear up and something very bright was shining from somewhere in the stands. Izuku moved his eyes to focus on the shiny thing and saw that it was a shadowy figure resembling Momo. Her eyes were shining with a silvery light resembling the moon. Is this my brain trying to fight the effects of Shinso's quirk? Then the figure with the glowing blue eyes walked towards him, followed by the figure with the silver eyes. They both got close and looked him in the eyes. Good luck. And make sure you weenie don't want you to be number 1, I want you be legendary. As soon as he heard those words, Izuku mustered every ounce of his willpower and launched himself into the sky. Within seconds he was flying very high. Izuku then realized that the sky was the same one from his dreams. The same endless horizon, golden white sky, and glowing clouds. Wait, the first time I had this dream, I fell out of my bed after trying to go high, so if I try it again, then Izuku didn't bother to complete the thought as he began journeying heavenward. Meanwhile, the people were looking at something else entirely. Izuku was walking towards the boundary when he stopped. Why Izuku Yagi has just stopped walking. Did he manage to overcome Shinso's quirk? But he still has the same lifeless look on his eyes. Wait, is he glowing? Everyone was looking at him. Izuku was emanating a soft glow. He is in fact glowing. Is this his plan? Slowly the glow was becoming brighter and brighter. Oh my god. Izuku is lighting up like wildfire. Izuku's glow kept on increasing till the point that everyone had to shut their eyes, and it was still not enough, so they had to cover their eyes with their hands. It was as if they were staring into the sun. Even people who were in tall buildings in the city were able to see the light coming out of the stadium. Correction, he is lighting up like the sun, Mick said, covering his eyes. After about 30 seconds, the glow died down and everyone was looking at Izuku. He was standing up and panting. This is. Whole crowd began to cheer for Izuku. If you think I'm blessed, then I'll fight you without using my quirk. Izuku shouted. What was that? Who were those people? Shit, I don't have time to think about that now. What did you do? Shinso shouted. He won't answer. Did he figure out my quirk secret? No, he must have heard it from that monkey earlier. All I can do is make him talk. What was that light? Was that your quirk self-defense mechanism? You even have flight and strength. I'm jealous, Shinso shouted, trying to get Izuku to answer. But Izuku's resolve was made up of titanium. I felt the same way in the past, Izuku thought as he began to run towards Shinso. Thanks to my quirk, I've been behind from the start. Someone who's been blessed like you can't understand that, can you? I do understand. But it is true. I am blessed to have such a powerful quirk. Someone like you who has been born with the ideal quirk. Someone who can reach their goal. Izuku rushed to Shinso and began to push him towards the edge of the stage. Shinso punched Izuku on the face, but Izuku didn't retaliate. He kept punching his face and surprisingly was able to turn himself and began pushing Izuku out. But Izuku, due his training, was able to use Shinso's momentum and tossed Shinso over his shoulder to the other side of the boundary, stunning everyone. Shinso is out of bounds. Izuku Yagi from 1 won the match and will be proceeding to the second round. Midnight announced. Momo finally let out the breath she didn't know she was holding. I was so nervous. Turning the tables at the last moment. As expected of Yagi. He didn't use his quirk to be fair to the other student. So manly. Yahoo. That was kind of a boring first match, but we should praise them both for a bravely fought match. Please give them a round of applause. Izuku turned around to go back to his place, but remembered what Shinso said moments ago. Someone who's blessed like you can't understand that, can you? Someone born with the ideal quirk. Shinso, why do you want to become a hero? Izuku asked, doing his signature looking up into the sun and sky thing. You can't help the things you long for. That's how I felt before my quirk unlocked, Izuku thought. Really? Then, try and put yourself in the shoes of someone who was thought to be quirkless for most of his life. What do you mean? My quirk was dormant until last year. At least you had a cool quirk to show for I didn't have anything. I know how it feels. Shinso trusts me. At that moment many people began to cheer for Shinso too. His classmates and many pros. You hear that? That's the sound of people praising you and your quirk. You still have 2 more years, Shinso. Make sure you get into the hero course. Izuku turned around and looked him in the eye. I'll try. There's no try, you either do or don't. So youthful. Midnight exclaimed. There were mics fitted near the arena and so whatever Izuku said was heard by everyone. Many pros were appalled by this revelation, but this made them cheer for Izuku even more. Especially after how he encouraged his opponent. Then Izuku went to the stands. On the way to the stands, he crossed Todoroki, who was glaring at him. So Yagi won, Todoroki muttered. He was on his way to the arena when he saw his father. Stop your childish rebellion, Shoto. Your duty is to surpass All Might. Do you understand? You are different from your siblings. You're my greatest masterpiece. Is that all you can say? I will win and advance using only my mom's side. I'll never use your power. Even if it kills me. Even if it works for now, you'll soon reach the limits of that power. After Izuku was done being congratulated for his victory, he sat down next to Momo and the others and watched with anticipation as Todoroki and Shiro stepped into the arena. The match began and Shiro immediately used tapes and tried to sideways trebuchet Todoroki out of the boundary. Everyone thought that the match was over when Todoroki used his quirk. I'm sorry, Todoroki said before activating his quirk, freezing Zero along with half of the stadium. Everyone was shocked, including the top pro heroes and the people outside the stadium. Aizawa and Mick looked at him with wide eyes. Even Izuku was intimidated by this show of power. Don't you think that's a bit too much? Shiro asked, shivering. Do you think you can move? Midnight asked, half frozen. Do you think I can move? Very well, the winner of this match is Todoroki of 1A. She announced. The rest of the matches went as usual, leaving out Iida's. Ibara won against Kaminari, Iida was used for advertising by Mei, Mina won against Aoyama, Momo won against Okoyami by using multiple flashbangs to weaken Dark Shadow, and teased him until he was unconscious. Momo actually felt very bad for doing that, and so immediately apologized as soon as he woke up. Tetsu and Kirishima had a draw, but Kirishima won in the arm wrestling. The final battle of the first round was Uraraka against Bakugo, and surprisingly, Bakugo was very close to losing. This made him acknowledge Uraraka a little more. Poor Uraraka grimaced. Bakugo moves on to the next round. He said with very little enthusiasm. If you're gonna do it, then do it properly, as always said. Now let's pull ourselves together. You're really letting your personal feelings take over, as Awa teased. The first round is over, and the second round will begin very shortly. After having a short conversation with Uraraka, Izuku was making his way to the entrance of the arena. While on the way, he had a small confrontation with Endeavor. Endeavor praised his quirk and its uses, and also told him to give his all while fighting Shoto. And although the conversation was forgettable, there was one line that Izuku said which Endeavor will never forget. You may be his father, but remember that you don't own his life. He is his own person. Thanks for waiting, everybody. The first match of this round is a very big one. On one side we have the student with a super quirk, Izuku Yagi from the hero course. While on the other side, we have a student who froze the stadium in seconds. Shoto Todoroki, also from the hero course. And the crowd went wild. Everyone was cheering and placing bets. But most of them were speculating that Todoroki would win, as Izuku didn't show his power in the first round, even though he was supposedly as strong as All Might. Contestants, please step into the arena. All the top pros were watching this with anticipation. This is it. Both of them have outstanding results. It's like two rivals facing off against each other now. Yagi versus Todoroki. Start. As soon as Todoroki heard the word, he used his quirk and sent a huge wall of ice towards Izuku. I will stick to 60%, Izuku thought as he punched towards the oncoming ice. The impact was successful, and it completely shattered all of Todoroki's ice. Todoroki, to prevent himself from being knocked back out of the boundary, made a small but strong wall of ice behind him. The wind generated by the clash was both strong as well as cold, making the audience behind Todoroki shiver. Todoroki didn't waste his time as he sent a wave of ice at Izuku, which was once again destroyed by Izuku. An endurance match, huh? Todoroki sent out another wave of ice at Izuku, but as soon as Izuku destroyed it, Todoroki made an icy path and used it to dash to Izuku, who saw this and quickly dodged his attack by moving backwards, but this time, his leg was caught in the ice. He caught sight of Todoroki, subsequently making an ice wall behind himself. He didn't waste time and used a 90% impact, making all of the ice shatter, leaving out the small wall made by Todoroki. But it did break Izuku's arm. Was this his 100%? It felt like it. If so, then that was weak. And his arm is also broken. This attack was stronger than the previous ones. Are you trying to tell me to stay away? Todoroki said as he moved a chunk of ice from his body. He followed it up by using another more powerful ice attack, forcing Izuku to use his left arm with 90% and breaking it. It's not just his quirk, his judgment, application skills, or mobility. All of his abilities are strong. If it weren't for Predator Sense, I would have been defeated during the first few attacks. Shit. Healing both arms at once will only cost me the energy to heal one arm, but it'll take at least a minute to fully heal them unless I use the entirety of my 120%. And that'll leave me vulnerable and unable to move and also use up all of my stamina. Fuck. He's already better than most pros. That's what you get from the son of the number 2 hero. What happened to Yagi's arms? They look broken. That's a severe drawback. The audience were in awe after seeing the power Todoroki had. What, are you just going to defend and run away? I thought that you were as strong as All Might. Maybe everyone is wrong, Todoroki said with anger. It seems like the only thing you had going for yourself is your flight. Izuku looked at Todoroki and saw that he was trembling. Is that how it is? Thanks, Yagi. That guy's face is clouded thanks to you. Without using my old man's quirk. But your arms like that you can't fight anymore. You may be able to heal yourself, but it exhausts your body very much. I'll have to use my broken arms. Let's finish this, Todoroki said as he launched a very big ice wave at him. But just as the ice wave was about to hit him. Where are you looking? And seconds later the entire ice wave was destroyed. The attack came as a surprise and almost pushed Todoroki out of bounds. He saved himself by making another wall. Bastard, Todoroki muttered, getting up. With your broken arm, why are you going so far? You're trembling, Todoroki. Izuku whispered loud enough for Todoroki to hear. Quirks are physically abilities too. There's a limit to how much your body can take, isn't there? Isn't that something you can control by using the heat from your left side? Everyone's fighting with everything they have to win and get closer to their dreams. All the students were looking at him. To reach the top, and you want to win with just half of your strength. You haven't put a single scratch on me yet, you know. Izuku said, gritting his teeth as if from a fist with his right hand. Come at me with everything you have, Izuku shouted. Yagi, what are you planning? Did my old man buy you off or something? Todoroki questioned. Now I'm angry. He then began charging towards Izuku, who immediately noticed that he was slow. In close quarters, you won't be able to do anything about it. The moment Todoroki jumped, Izuku moved to get close to him. He then used 20% and punched Todoroki in the gut. However, Todoroki managed to freeze Izuku's left arm. Todoroki got up and immediately sent an ice wave at Izuku. But he managed to dodge it since the wave was moving slowly. But he had to use his broken hands to fight off Todoroki's onslaught. And his hands were getting worse with every attack. So much so that Cementus was thinking about stopping the match. Why are you going so far? Todoroki asked, shaking a little. Because I want to live up to everyone's expectations, Izuku replied. People began expecting great things from me the moment I saved all those people from the disaster. Their expectations only increased when Eraserhead announced that I'm as strong as All Might. I want to live up to my deceased mentor's belief that I will become a good hero. Someone who helps the needy. And everyone else is giving their all to live up to their own expectations. Izuku shouted as punched Todoroki in the gut again. There's no way I can know of your circumstances or your resolve, but for you trying to become the #1 hero without using your full power, only to reject your father is fucking stupid. Quit screwing around. The power you have is yours, not your father's, not anyone else's. It's your life, not his. You can become a hero because of your own reasons, not his. Everyone was silent. Todoroki was having flashbacks of his childhood. Izuku's words reminded him of what his mother said. All Might understood what Izuku was trying to do. So I'm asking you this again, why are you here? Why do you want to become a hero? Todoroki was silent, unable to form any words. He didn't finish the sentence as all of a sudden his left side was covered in brilliant flames. The flames were so hot that it was felt by everyone present in the stadium. And seeing the flames signaled that Izuku had succeeded. This is. Are you sure that he's as powerful as you? Because it looks like Todoroki is closer to you than Yagi. Ryukyu asked All Might. All this time, he was helping his friend overcome his demons. All Might's grin became wider, as well as Titan's. Even though you want to win, you help the enemy. Who's screwing around now? I want to be a hero too. Todoroki was smiling. He completely ignored what his father was shouting. So cool now, come at me with your fire and ice. You're crazy. Don't blame me for what happens next, Todoroki said as he began creating ice. Midnight. We have to stop the match. Izuku's body won't be able to take it anymore, Samantha said as he began to make walls, and Midnight was about to use her quirk when they saw that Izuku was not moving. Todoroki then used his fire to turn the ice into super hot steam and used his fire to propel it towards Izuku. The steam moved with so much force that it easily destroyed Cementus's walls. Thanks, Yagi, Todoroki whispered. And since Izuku's predator sense was active, he heard it. You're welcome, Izuku said as he took the full force of the steam and fire. He used a Mars impact to stop the steam moments before it reached him, causing an explosion where Izuku was. Then everyone was silent. Did that kid even survive? They better call an ambulance soon. Everyone was very worried, especially Momo and Izuku's parents. The dust had yet to clear, and when it did clear, everyone was shocked. Izuku was there, but not in the best of conditions. He was kneeling down on both knees. His shirt had burnt off, both of his arms were broken, and there were burn marks all over his body. After a few moments of silence, Midnight finally spoke up. Can you move, Izuku? Izuku did not respond. The teachers and everyone else thought something bad had happened, and then he spoke. Midnight-sensei, Samantha-sensei, I'd recommend that you find some cover, Izuku said in a raspy voice. Well, what do you mean? I mean that I think I will use my full power. The whole crowd was silent. They were shocked, even Endeavor and Shoto. You weren't using your full power? Todoroki asked. He was very confused as moments ago, Izuku was talking about everyone giving it their all. No, because I didn't want to use my full power when you were using only half of your power, Izuku said as his body began to heal. The crowd was silent and shocked by the sudden change in Izuku's tone. Wait, so all this time, that Yagi fellow was holding back. So he was playing with his food then. And the way he told the teachers to take cover. Izuku stood up and stared directly into Todoroki's eyes. And the intensity of the stare was very high. So much so that Todoroki actually took a step back. Then quickly took his fighting stance. You may think that you defeated me, but I lose only if I want to lose, or if my opponent knows my weakness. And right now, neither do I want to lose, nor do you know my weakness. Everyone was thinking the same thing. Is this even the same person? Now came at me. Todoroki didn't waste time as he immediately made a very big wall behind him and began preparing his ice-fire combo attack. Then he attacked with full force. But this time, Izuku simply raised his arm and punched the air in front of him. For a split second everything was still, then, all hell broke loose. The kinetic energy went through Todoroki's attack and defensive ice like hot knife through butter and immediately destroyed the ice wall behind Todoroki and pushed him into the wall so hard that it immediately made him unconscious and made a huge crater. The recoiling shockwave destroyed every piece of glass that was presented on the same level as him and was felt by everyone even outside the stadium, and the air pressure through Midnight and Cementus in some other direction. The air pressure also knocked down everyone who was standing up, including Endeavor. The people sitting behind Todoroki were launched up from their seats due to the energy. And the ground had actually split up in front of Izuku. After everyone got their bearings back, they couldn't find the words. Izuku simply looked around at the wide eyes of the people watching him. What? That's what happens when I'm not holding back, and by the way, someone better take Todoroki to Recovery Girl. Izuku Yagi won this round and will be moving on to the next round, Midnight announced. Should I feel too tired? And with that Izuku went back to his friends. After everyone gained back their ability to speak, the remaining matches took place. Iida was able to defeat Ibara in a few seconds, while Momo defeated Mina in an instant by using a stun baton, a net, and flash grenades, and Bakugo managed to defeat Kirishima. The semi-final round had begun. And the first match was Izuku vs Iida. Iida used his burst to try to push him out of the way, but Izuku was faster and used the same technique he used to defeat Shinso on him. After which they shook hands and Iida congratulated Izuku. Then it was Momo vs Bakugo. Momo was very close to winning, but wasn't able to as one of her flash grenades was faulty and exploded as soon as she made them. Hence, giving Bakugo an advantage and ultimately defeating her. Alright everyone. The final match will begin in 10 minutes. Mick announced. Izuku and Momo were eating some snacks when Iida walked into the waiting room. Are you ready for Yaoi Rozu? I won't hold back, Iida asked. Bring it. Momo replied. By the way Iida, did your brother contact you yet? No, he must be busy right then. Iida's whole body began to shake. Are you okay, Iida? Yes, it's just my phone. Excuse me. Iida exited the room and Todoroki entered. Izuku quickly walked over to him and apologized for what he said during lunch break. Todoroki accepted his apology. Soon after Momo also left the room to prepare for her fight with Iida. All you need is training with your fire side, then maybe you could beat me, Izuku jokes. Then I have a long way to go. Izuku Yagi and Katsuki Bakugo, please reach the arena ASAP. Tenya Iida has left for some personal reason and so there won't be any third position battle. Momo Yaoi Rozu has already been given the third position. Well, that's my calling. See you around, Izuku said. That was nice, he's more open now. But Iida, what made him leave? Izuku thought as he made his way to the arena. It's finally the last battle of the UA High School Sports Festival. The top of the first years will be decided with this one match. Mick shouted. The final, so to speak, is between Katsuki Bakugo of the Hero Course and Izuku Yagi, also of the Hero Course. The eyes of Japan were on them. Now. Start. Wait, what just happened? Everyone looked wide-eyed as they saw that Bakugo was already out of bounds. What just happened? Uraraka asked. Momo replied, that was Izuku's speed. So that means he would have defeated me or that boy from general education within a second, but instead he gave Shinso a chance and saved me from myself, Todoroki thought. That was the fastest battle I've ever seen. Izuku Yagi has won the sports festival. Midnight announced. Bakugo was still on the ground, unable to believe what just happened. I told you that I would humiliate you. Plus, I didn't want to waste my time or energy on you, Izuku said as he walked away. Bakugo tried to attack him, but was quickly put to sleep by Midnight. Then All Might distributed the medals and gave, or at least tried to give hugs to the other two students. It was super awkward in the case of Momo, but was unable to give Bakugo a hug as he was restrained using chains and a block of cement. But the hug he gave to Izuku was genuine, it was filled with fatherly love. And Izuku felt something. Let me explain. The participants can form teams of 2 to 4 as they want. It's like a normal cavalry battle, but participants are given a point value according to their previous result of previous. Also, the person who is at the top gets a special ability. The points assigned go up by 5 points. So it starts from the bottom as the last person gets 5 points, then 10, then 15. But the point assigned to the first place is 10 million. And that's why the top position gets a special ability. They can participate without a team, but it will make it even more difficult for them. So that means, if someone can get the top player, they win regardless of how many points they lose. Everyone said in unison. That's right, it's survival of the fittest, with a chance for those at the bottom to overthrow the top. And only the top 5 teams can make it to the next round. Then Midnight began to explain all the rules to the participants. Then everyone glared at Izuku, but they did not expect him to be smug. Play Shoot to Thrill by ACDC. Izuku was smirking, not something someone would expect a person to do who has a 10 million point bounty on their head. Everyone had isolated him and began forming teams of their own. Instead of sweating like a rainstorm, he was calm and smiling with glee. VIP stands. Is it me, or is that kid unusually happy and calm? Orca asked. Yes, he is smirking too, Genist commented. He definitely has something planned, even I'd be a little nervous if I was in his place. Oh, did you forget that he could fly? Titan asked, getting everyone's attention. Oh, that explains his smugness, Ryukyu remarked. Alright everybody, the cavalry battle is about to begin. Mick shouted. Participants, head on into the battle zone. Midnight announced. Everyone was walking into the arena. Izuku walked to the center. Everyone was glaring at Izuku, but Izuku, instead of being scared or nervous, was grinning confidently. Hey, is it me or is the class rep grinning wickedly? Uraraka asked. He is definitely grinning. Momo affirmed. It's as if he has an upper hand. Oh, Momo quickly realized why Izuku was grinning. How did I forget that? How did everyone forget that? Alright, listen up, we'll go for others, she told her teammates. What? Why? Mina asked. Everyone will be going for him, and frankly it's useless. He can fly, and the rules say that we can use our quirk however we want. Izuku can fly, and his maximum height is 23,000 feet, and we can't even hope to attain that altitude, even if we have May's babies or Uraraka's anti-gravity. Okay, then what's our strategy? May asked. We shouldn't really be doing this, but we'll go for the taking candy from a kid's strategy. Aim for all the weaker teams and take their headbands. I feel evil, Mina commented. Izuku walked onto the stage and purposely stood at the center. Get ready, 3, 2. Wait. Ms. Midnight. Izuku shouted. What is Yagi? What happens if someone gets so many bands that they cannot keep them around their neck? They can hold the rest in their hands, but why are you asking this? Well, I don't want to sound like an overconfident prick, but I already won the battle. The whole crowd was silent. They were confused why Izuku was so confident. By the way, Mr. Mech, is it possible for song requests? Izuku asked. Yes. Then please start playing Shoot to Thrill by AC/DC the moment Ms. Midnight says start. Okay. 50 SP to both legs, 20 SP to head. So, is everyone ready? 3, 2, 1. Stop. Before Midnight finished saying the word, Izuku disappeared and every participant felt a breeze of air. Hey, where's Yagi? Someone asked. He was here just a moment ago. How fast is he? The students were oblivious. But the whole crowd, all the pros, the top pros, even Endeavor, the teachers, and everyone watching via TV, were trying to figure out what the fuck just happened. As everyone was wondering where Izuku had disappeared, Momo saw that Midnight was looking at them with wide eyes. Is Midnight? Why are you looking at us like that? Midnight didn't answer, but instead pointed towards her head. Momo got confused and touched her head only to see that her point band was missing. She began to panic and was looking around to see who had taken it, only to find that no one else had their point bands. Everyone, where are your points? Momo shouted and got everyone's attention. What? My band. Where the hell is it? Bakugo shouted. All the students were panicking. They were looking around but couldn't find any until looking for these. They heard a voice from above and looked up to see Izuku with all the point bands eating popcorn. Is Midnight, what happens if no one makes it through this round? Will they have another round? Midnight, who was still looking at him with shock, didn't respond. Is Midnight? Huh? Oh. There won't be another round. If you can survive the duration of this battle with all the points, then you've won this year's festival, and you'll get a platinum medal. Well then, everything is fair in love and war. Better luck next time. And if you want to get back your points, you'll have to reach a height of approximately 23,000 feet by. Izuku said as he flew into the sky. Izuku came back down a few minutes later to buy popcorn and juice, after which he flew back into the sky again. I don't know what to say, All Might said, looking wide-eyed. He's too overpowered. The students shouted. Bakugo exploded and Todoroki froze himself. Hey, isn't All Might supposed to be here already? Let me guess, he booked an interview as Awa asked 13. Actually, the principal made a small change to the schedule. He asked him to take the heroics class for 1B in the morning so that could spend the rest of the day here. It's 10:30 right now, he should be here by 11:30. 13 was about to say something when the lights began to flicker. Then a purplish mist began to appear near the fountain. Both Aizawa and 13 felt something was about to go very wrong. Out of the mist, a man covered with hands walked out, followed by a hulking creature with a bird-like face. Then more and more villains began to appear. Stick together and don't move. 13, protect the students. Yaoi Rozu immediately understood what the situation was. Did the training start already? What is that thing? Are those the people we have to save? Kirishima was walking in front but was stopped by a steel staff. You heard Aizawa-sensei, everyone stuck together, Momo commanded sternly. And those aren't people we have to save, they're villains, she said. 13, get all the students outside, I'll deal with the villains, Eraserhead said as he put on his goggles. But, Mr. Aizawa, your quirk isn't suited for situations like these. You can't be a hero with only one trick, Yaoi Rozu. Don't worry about me and take care of your class, Aizawa said. As he was about to jump into the horde, he was stopped by Momo. I guess you're right, you can't be a hero with only one trick, and that's why I'm going to use lethal force on them. Aizawa was confused. I don't understand, what lethal force? He asked. Play Pusha to the Limit by Paul Engelman. Let's just say, I'm at my most powerful when I use lethal force. Many people have mental blocks on their quirks to prevent them from killing people, however, I don't have that mental block. And besides, they attacked us first, I think anything we do will count as self-defense. And I won't intentionally try to kill them, I'll just separate their legs from their body, Momo said nonchalantly, both confusing and scaring the teachers and students, even Bakugo. The fuck is she going to do? Was what all of them were thinking. But I think it'll be better to give them a chance to surrender first. Momo said as she began to make a megaphone. After which she went to the edge of the stairs. Villains, I request you to put your hands behind your head and get on the ground or else I'll have to use lethal force, which will be very painful on your end, she announced. But this was met by laughs and taunts from the villains. Ha 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 ha. What do you think you can do, little girls? I have something that can kill All Might. The handman was laughing wickedly. They don't listen, Momo said in a disappointed tone with a hint of anger. Well, no point in waiting. Jiru, can you play Push It to the Limit by Paul Engelman? Yeah. Okay, please start playing it now, and someone please call for ambulances. Those villains are going to need them, Momo said as she began walking down the stairs. As she walked down, her stomach began to glow, but this time, instead of a megaphone, something very big came out. The students and teachers only watched terrified as they saw what the thing was. Yaoi Rozu. Are you planning on murdering all of them, Aizawa shouted. Nope, I'll only destroy their legs, she said. May God have mercy on their souls, Kaminari said, trembling. By this time, Momo had reached the bottom of the stairs, grinning at the villains with wickedness, holding her creation. The villains also saw what she was holding and were shaking and sweating. After a few moments of silence, Momo spoke up. You should have listened so now. Say hello to my 7-barreled, high-temperature incendiary firing little friend. She shouted as the barrels of her fucking minigun began to rotate. And it was at that moment the villains knew they fucked up. After 7 seconds of warming up, she began firing as her body kept on producing bullets and feeding them directly into the gun, which was followed by screams of villains as their legs were being shredded and the wounds were being cauterized by the incendiary bullets. Her classmates and teachers watched with wide and horror-filled eyes as she defeated wave after wave of villains with extreme prejudice and gore. No. 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 Nomu killed her. The handman commanded as the Nomu began to charge at her. She quickly changed her target and managed to completely shred Nomu's legs, but Nomu then began to regenerate his legs, shocking everyone. For a second, Momo was also shocked but quickly began to make incendiary bullets that burn with a very high temperature enough to carbonize cells. After which she turned the Nomu into a literal nugget, destroying its arms and legs. The handman was slowly being engulfed in the blank mist. Momo realized that he was about to warp out and so threw many flashbangs and stun grenades. Once she saw that the mist man was stunned, she proceeded to completely destroy the handman's legs. After which she caught sight of the neck armor device of the mist man. She quickly destroyed it, making the mist man unable to warp anymore. And in about 2 minutes, every single villain in the USJ was turned into moaning and groaning legless people. Then she walked up the stairs, trying very hard to keep her balance. 13, do you have some vending machines in the facility? She asked. I'm feeling very hungry right now. But no one answered. They looked at her in shock and awe. 13? She asked again. Right there in the lounge, follow me, she said as she led Momo to the lounge. What the fuck was that? Bakugo shouted. I know I shout about killing people all the time, but that shit was too fucking much even for me. Speaking of which, she could have killed all those fucking people if her aim was a little too high. Aizawa tried to say something, but couldn't find the words. And after prolonged silence. She's too overpowered. The students exclaimed as Aizawa was still trying to speak. Later. Izuku, All Might Titan, and the other teachers arrived to watch in horror as the now legless villains were being carried out by stretchers and one of them shouting things like Nuo. This is unfair. And she cheated. I want a rematch. The 18 students and the 2 teachers were a little nervous around Momo, which the others, including Izuku, were confused about. The most shocking thing was, even Bakugo and Todoroki were nervous. The other teachers asked what happened, but Aizawa and 13 only told them to see the CCTV footage. Later that night, all the teachers and the detective made a mental note to not mess with Momo Yaoirozu and made the decision that whatever happened at the USJ would remain a secret until the end of time. The next couple of days had been tiresome for nearly all the students who made it to the 1v1 battles of the sports festival, especially the ones who reached the second round. The students would often be surrounded by a few people when they were in public places. The only one who was not approached was Bakugo. Momo hated this more than any of the others, much to Izuku's amusement. After a week's break, classes resumed. I don't know how you put up with all of this. Seriously. Good thing it's raining today. Momo told Izuku as they walked towards UA. Both of them decided to go to school together. They planned that they would go to the spot where they first met and go to UA from there. You'll get used to it. Besides, it'll die down after a while. Izuku replied with a light laugh. I guess, Momo commented. They were walking towards the gates when they heard Iida. Good morning. Yagi. Yaoirozu. Iida. Momo turned around and was a little amused when she saw what Iida was wearing. Wearing a poncho and rain boots. Izuku on the other hand was a bit dumbfounded. Why are you two walking so slowly? You're gonna be late. Late? There's at least 5 minutes till the first bell rings. Izuku said as both him and Momo began running with Iida. UA students should arrive 10 minutes early. With that he sprinted away. To other people, the conversation would have sounded normal, but Momo and Izuku knew that something was odd about Iida. Was it just me, or did Iida look a bit? No, something is very off about him. Momo didn't let Izuku finish. Both of them were worried about him once they discovered what happened. Momo and Izuku tried to call him, but the only response they got was a pre-recorded message telling them to send a voicemail. Izuku and Momo entered the school building and were putting their umbrellas in the rack when they saw Iida taking off his raincoat. Iida. If it's about my brother, there's no need to worry. Izuku wanted to break the ice, but was cut off by Iida, who turned around to respond. He's alright now, he said before heading towards class. Izuku and Momo were now sure that their friend was in distress. They were sure because of the look Iida had in his eyes. Izuku recognized that there were body language classes in Rheinmetall, and Momo knew it as she was. She was taught about understanding body language from a young age, being a girl from a high-class family. 1A. So many people talked to me on my way here. Mina exclaimed. Well, that's what happens when your performance and fights are shown to the entire country. It was really embarrassing throughout the last couple of days. I wonder how the pros hide their embarrassment, Kirishima added. Yeah. Many people were staring at me, Toru exclaimed. I had some elementary students suddenly telling me don't worry about it in public, Shiro commented with a depressed sigh. His self-esteem was further destroyed when Sayu said the same thing with a very bland tone. The students were gossiping about their past week when Aizawa entered the classroom, free from the bandages. Good morning, Aizawa greeted me. Their bandages are gone. I'm glad, Sayu commented. The old lady went a little overboard with the treatment. But more importantly, we're having a special hero class today. As soon as those words left Aizawa's mouth, most of the students' blood froze. Some thought that it would be a quest, while others thought it would be about laws related to heroes. Codenames. You'll be coming up with hero code names. We're going to do something exciting. Almost all of the students shouted in unison, but were promptly silenced by Aizawa's glowing red death glare. This is related to the pro hero draft picks I mentioned the other day. The serious drafts begin in the second and third years after the students have gained experience and can become an asset to the pros. In other words, for them to extend offers to first years like you is saying that they are interested in your future potential. These offers are often cancelled if the interest dies down by graduation. Aizawa explained. So that means we'll have to prove ourselves to the pros after we get picked, huh? Toru asked. That's right, and here are the totals with offers, Aizawa said as a hologram displaying the names and number of offers appeared. Izuku received most of the offers, followed by Momo, Bakugo, and Todoroki. The gap between Momo, Bakugo, and Todoroki and the remaining students was nearly as big as the gap between the three and Izuku. In other years, the offers were more spread out, but this year the eyes were on these 4, especially the top one. Izawa pointed at the top 4. Ah. There's such a big difference. Kaminari exclaimed. Those pros don't know a good thing when they see one, Yuga said, trying not to look angry. Momo is second, followed by Bakugo in third. It's the opposite of their placement in the sports festival, Jiru said, followed by Kirishima. Some people are too afraid to ask for a guy who had to be tied down to a slab of cement on the podium, Siro commented. What did you say? Came an unwanted reply from the devil himself. Keeping these results in mind, whether or not anyone asked for you, all of you will be participating in internships with pros. Internships? Everyone was a little surprised. Yes, internships. At USJ, you already got to experience combat with real villains, but it will be meaningful training for you to see pros at work firsthand. Aizawa continued. So that explains the hero names. Things are suddenly becoming a lot more fun. Well, those hero names are still temporary, but if you're not serious about it, you'll have to stick with them forever. Everyone looked at the door to see the R-rated hero Midnight enter the classroom, making nearly all of the boys jump in excitement with large grains plastered to their faces. Because a lot of hero names used by students become recognized by society, and they end up becoming professional hero names. She explained. That's why Midnight will be making sure that your names are okay. Aizawa said as he turned into a yellow caterpillar. When you give yourself a name, you get a more concrete picture of what you want to be like or symbolize in the future, and you can get closer to it. This is what it means when they say names, and natures do often agree, like All Might, for example. And with that, one by one the students began choosing and telling their hero names in front of the class. And finally, it was Izuku's turn. Yagi, come up to the front and present your hero name, Midnight commanded, and Izuku obeyed. Everyone was anxious to know about Izuku's hero name. You may think that I have a titanic ego to take the name of a titan, but no, I really do want to hold up the sky, and unlike the stories, I want to do it because I don't want to see the sky fall, not because I'm condemned to hold it up also. The first part of the codename was originally my late mentor's choice. He wanted to become a hero, but life wasn't fair to him. So I want to take his name and become what he couldn't be. A pro hero, and that's why I choose my hero name to be Izuku. Flip the white slate to display the name written in bold block letters. Atlas Prime, Izuku said proudly, getting a couple of "that's a cool name" s from his classmates. As he was returning to his seat, the door opened to reveal the principal. All of you are selecting hero names, I see, he said. Yes, sir. The class responded. Please continue, Yagi, walk with me. I have something important to tell you. Yes, sir. Izuku quickly kept the white slate and exited the room. Once they reached the office, Nezu told Izuku to sit down as he began preparing tea. Izuku, I've called you here for a proposition. Proposition? Yes, did you choose whom you want to intern with? No, but I am thinking about interning with Endeavor or Gang Orca. Well, in that case, I have another option for you. His name is Gran Torino. He is a retired pro hero. Torino taught at UA for a year. He taught here? Yes, he even taught 3 of your teachers as well as your parents when they were studying here. The teacher of teachers I'll definitely intern with. Izuku said with enthusiasm, making Nezu smile. He then proceeded to give Izuku a page with all the information. A few minutes after Izuku left the room, Nezu took out his small phone and called All Might. Operation Repair Broken Bonds is a go, he informed. Izuku returned to the class. He was about to enter the room when the door opened and the 2 teachers walked out. Oh, Yagi, I left your internship form on your table. Aizawa said. I don't think it'll be necessary. I already chose who I'm interning with. Really? Who is it? Midnight asked. According to the principal, he taught here before. He is retired now, and Izuku checked the paper. Gran Torino. Izuku then looked at his teachers and saw them shaking and sweating. Did you say Gran Torino? Aizawa asked, trembling. Yeah, that's what the paper says. Why? Well, kid, you better tell someone to write your obituary. It's very unlikely that you will survive interning with him, Aizawa said. What do you mean? Izuku asked. He had never seen Aizawa in this state before, and him talking like it's the end of the world was not something to laugh about. Let's just say, All Might turns into a wet kitten when someone even mentions Gran Torino's name, so yeah, good luck. Midnight explained, after which they left behind a petrified Izuku. Turns All Might into a wet kitten. Damn, I almost said it. Without wasting any more time, he entered the classroom. After their morning routine, lunchtime began. Hey guys, have you chosen which hero agency you'll go with? Mina asked. The most immediate response came from the great midget. I'm going to Mount Lady, he said with a thumbs up. You're thinking about something very perverted, aren't you? Sayu commented. No, I'm not. You know, it's pretty weird that you didn't get any offers, Ashido. You made it pretty far in the tournament. Momo commented. I know, right? What about you, Izuku? She turned around. I already chose. Which agency did you go for? Uraraka asked. Actually, I didn't choose an agency. The person I'll be interning with is a retired pro. He apparently taught in UA a long time ago. This caught the attention of many of the other students. An ex-teacher? Todoroki asked. Yeah, he apparently taught Titan, All Might, Eraserhead, Midnight, and Present Mick when they were students. He looked back at his friends and saw a shocked expression on everyone's face. Why are all of you looking at me that way? Oh, come on. Mina exclaimed. You're going to learn from our teachers. A grand teacher. Kaminari said. Not to mention, a teacher who taught the All Might. Uraraka added. Yes, to learn from someone who helped to make these pros who they are now is a great honor, Todoroki commented. Shut the hell up. All of you. Came another unwanted response from the devil. Enough about me, who are you going with, Uraraka, Todoroki? Izuku asked, trying to divert the attention. I'm going with my old man. I broke my vow, Todoroki answered. As for me, I'm going for the battle hero. Gunhead. Huh? Gunhead's a huge battle type. Izuku exclaimed. You're going there, Uraraka? Asked Momo. Yup. I got an offer from him. Really? I thought you were trying to be a rescue hero like 13. This statement came from an unexpected person named Todoroki. And was a complete shocker as up until that day, Todoroki never willingly talked to anyone from the class. But it made Izuku very happy. He's opening up to others, good, he thought. Ultimately, yes, but fighting Bakugo at the sports festival made me think that the stronger I get, the more opportunities I will have. If I only do what I want, I'll have a narrower perspective. I see, Todoroki said and returned his seat, again surprising most of the students. He actually conversed. Was their collective thought. What about you, Momo? Izuku asked. I'm going with Titan Hero Agency. Titan? Izuku accidentally stood up and screamed with a voice crack, startling everyone in the class. What was that? Kirishima asked as everyone stared at Izuku. Stop staring. I wasn't a very big fan of hers. By the way, Momo, any special reason you're going to her agency? Izuku asked. Right, I'm going with her agency since she has always been my role model. Ever since I was a child, I always looked up to her. I know most people look up to All Might, I do too, but not as much as Titan. Maybe it's her charisma or the motherly way she talks to people who were victims of a disaster or a villain attack, I don't know, but that's just how it is. She explained. Well, she is right. Titan always had this aura. Can't fault Momo for choosing her. I see you made a good choice, Momo. Izuku gave a thumbs up, earning a soft smile from her. After school. Momo and Izuku were leaving the class when Uraraka called out to them. Yagi. Yanomamo. Let's go home together. Sure. Momo replied. Where's Iida? I don't know. Maybe he decided where he wants to do his internship and probably went to the staff room to turn the form in. Uraraka added. Izuku looked around a bit and got an idea. Without saying anything else, I walked to Todoroki, who was surprisingly still in class. Todoroki, wanna walk home together? Todoroki pondered for a few moments. Sure, he answered with a monotone voice. Todoroki then proceeded to follow Izuku to the door. Uraraka and Momo were a little bit shocked to see Todoroki, but they didn't mind him coming along. Before leaving, Izuku checked Iida's locker and saw that he was already gone. As they left the school, the four of them began to talk about what they were expecting to learn from the pros. Although Todoroki spoke the least, he admitted that he would take any chance to intern with a different hero. On the way, Izuku decided to treat them with ice cream. Say, Todoroki. If you ate the ice cream and activated both of your quirks while the ice cream is still inside your mouth, will the ice cream melt or will it remain frozen? As soon as Izuku asked the question, Todoroki stopped dead in his tracks. The others turned around to see Todoroki staring very intently at his ice cream cone. He kept on staring at it before giving a very small smile. The smile was unnoticed by Momo and Izuku, but Uraraka saw it, somehow. And for some reason, that made her smile a little too. I don't know. Maybe I'll try it someday. He answered. A few streets later, Todoroki and Uraraka went towards their homes. Apparently, both of them lived on the same side of town. After which, Izuku and Momo also went their separate ways. 2 days later, train station. All of you have your costumes, right? Aizawa asked the students. Remember, you aren't allowed to wear them in public. Also, don't drop them or something. Yes, sir. Speak clearly, it's yes, sir, Ishido, Aizawa corrected. Yes, sir, Mina affirmed with a sad frown. And make sure you keep your manners with the pros at your internships. Now disperse. Everyone was talking about where they were going, leaving out Iida. He was silently making his way towards his train when Izuku saw him and decided to talk to him. Iida. He ran up to him. If you ever feel hopeless, please let me know. Correction, not just me, please talk to anyone from class if you want to. We're all friends, right? Iida slowly turned around. Yeah, he replied while forcing a smile. Just don't do anything stupid. Don't worry. I won't, Iida replied and went to his platform. I do really hope you don't do anything stupid. Soon after, everyone departed for their internships. Break. Gran Torino, a hero that even All Might is afraid of. Izuku said to himself as he looked for the address given on the map. I've never heard of him, but I'm sure that he is a great person. There it is. Izuku stood outside a derelict 5-story building. The address matches the one on the map. I guess Izuku first knocked on the door a few times, but didn't get any response. So he decided to enter. I am here from UA High. My name is Izuku Yagi. I'm supposed to meet a pro. His name is Gran Torino. Izuku's eyes fell on the ground and his brain immediately went into panic mode. In front of him was a man lying down face first, with blood all around him, and although Izuku went through hardcore, military-grade training, he was not prepared to see a dead body. And so he did the only logical thing. He's dead. Izuku screamed, again with a voice crack. And unexpectedly, the man looked back at Izuku and said the two magic words. I'm alive. Since Izuku was still in his panic state, his brain didn't think of anything else, and so he simply said something close to what the old man said. He's alive. After a few moments of awkward silence, the old man got up and explained his situation and why he was the way he was. He apparently dropped his food, fell down on top of said food, and went to sleep. So who are you? The old man asked. I'm Izuku Yagi, from UA. Who? Izuku Yagi. Oh, you're the boy from that bridge incident. Yes, sir. Why are you here? I'm here for my internship. Internship? Yes, sir. Why? To learn how to be a better hero. Oh, that's a good thing anyway. Who are you again? The old man asked, and by now, Izuku was frustrated. He decided that he would introduce himself one last time, and if the old man kept on asking questions, he would leave. My name is Izuku Yagi, and I'm here to intern with you, earn experience about a pro's job. That's more like it. So you want to become a better hero, right? Yes, sir. Then I am a villain. Hit me with all of your strength. In this place. Are you sure? Do you not want to earn experience about how to become a better hero? Because a hero never hesitates to bring a villain to justice. Izuku thought for a second and realized that the old man was right. And so, he activated his quirk and directed ADSP to his right arm. I hope you know what you're doing, old man. Izuku readied himself. Bring it on, Gran Torino replied with a grin. Izuku readied his quirk. He began directing ADSP to his right arm. Come on, faster. 6 seconds is too slow. He shouted in his mind, and before he knew it, Torino turned into a yellow and white blur and punched him in the abdomen. Of what the Izuku couldn't complete his sentence as the blur launched from wall to wall and managed to get behind him. Izuku turned around to receive another punch to the gut. Ah! Seconds later, Torino got behind him and hit Izuku's back. Izuku quickly recovered and saw that Torino was shooting off from wall to wall. I need a plan, he thought to himself as he began directing all of his energy to his head to activate super time. Something he didn't know until he fully activated his ability was that he chose the worst possible moment to use super time. As soon as time stopped, Izuku saw that Torino was already mid-launch right in front of him, fist ready to strike. Well then, I guess this is it. This is how I go down in history. A smirking old man's fist to the gut. I really like super time. Maybe I'll stay like this for a while. But as much as Izuku liked super time, he knew that if he used super time for more than 70 seconds, he would pass out. And so he deactivated his ability and just accepted his fate. He half-shouted as Torino landed the final blow, making Izuku kneel and clutch his stomach. Gran Torino, however, was very shocked as he saw how Izuku fought against Nomu and how fast he was. He was shocked because Izuku wasn't even able to activate his quirk right now. What happened to you, boy? Your speed was much faster when you fought against that Nomu creature, Torino asked. Izuku quickly got up. That's because wait, how do you know about Nomu? Izuku became suspicious. I know about it because I was called by your father and the principal later that night. Torino replied blandly. This made Izuku even more suspicious. Wait, why would an ex-teacher be called by All Might and the principal? How does he know about me and All Might? Did they set this up? He thought. May I know why you were called? Izuku was ready to storm out of the building. I was there because your father suspects that his arch-nemesis is back, Torino said. Arch-nemesis? Yes, arch-nemesis not only of your father, but of all the previous holders of One for All. He was known as the symbol of evil during his reign of terror when quirks first began to appear. Torino explained. Izuku, however, became confused. What reign of terror? What symbol of evil? Symbol of evil? That too during the time when quirks started to show up. How is that possible? I mean, I've read every book in existence about quirks and their history, and I never came across any symbol of evil. Izuku said. That's because almost all evidence, written material or otherwise, was purged from history. Torino began to explain. It was a very dark time for Japan. Crime was everywhere. When the symbol of peace went underground, the government did everything in its power and destroyed all the evidence, not only from Japan, but other countries as well. Although, there may be a few countries which the Japanese government couldn't convince to completely destroy the records. But if he truly is back, Torino paused and looked Izuku dead in the eye. Then I must warn you about something. So listen carefully and closely, he said in a very serious tone. And that seriousness made Izuku swallow a lump. Okay. Your quirk is similar to your father's, and now that you are famous and everyone saw the power of your quirk, the symbol of evil may come after you. Therefore, if any other person, leaving out the principal, recovery girl, a pro named Sir Night-Eye, and a detective whose name is Namasa, asks if you have inherited one for all, you will answer that you have inherited it. Torino explained. Izuku was about to say something, but was silenced by a terrifying glare from Torino. No questions about it, do you get my point? This is for your own safety. Yes, sir. Izuku replied. Now I know why the other teachers are afraid of him. There is another thing that I should tell you. Okay, Izuku braced himself. All the holders of One for All fought the symbol of evil, and every single one of them failed and were no longer able to continue their life as heroes. They were either severely injured or downright dead. Even All Might's predecessor, a close friend of mine, died. And although your father was and is still injured, he keeps on fighting. He fights because of you. The days leading up to the fight with his nemesis were very stressful. Your father kept mumbling about not being able to see someone grow up if he failed. He would often call up your mother and make her promise things like please look after him and please tell him about me. I tried asking him who he was, but all he said was that it was nervous mumblings. I, however, didn't believe him and knew something was fishy. Time and time again I asked him about the phone calls, but Toshinori always dodged the question. But I realized who the person was a few weeks ago when I saw the CCTV footage of the USJ attack. Before you tell me anything, I already know about their mess. And I must say, you did the right thing by separating yourself from them. Torino explained. What? Izuku was puzzled as he didn't expect Torino to say what he just said. Izuku thought that Torino would try to convince him to mend his bond with his parents. But instead, Torino was supporting his decision. Really? Yes, I definitely think they deserve the punishment. I myself punished them when they told me how badly they messed up. You punished them? Yes, I made them kneel down and hold their ears for 20 minutes straight. That too outside the teachers' meeting hall. Haha, must have been funny. Funny? Yes, it was, although you should know that your parents love you very much and reconciling with them in the distant future might not be such a bad idea. I will think about it, Izuku replied. He didn't know how to feel about reconciliation, but then again, he himself thought about it a year ago. That's good to hear. Now, enough of this family drama. Tell me everything about your quirk. Torino commanded, and Izuku immediately began explaining everything about his quirk. From strength to healing to flying, and even how he managed to hold back the Nomu by continuously oscillating almost all the SP between his arms. Gran Torino was very much intrigued by the different abilities of Izuku's quirk. Your quirk is quite powerful, which is why I'm saying this again. If any stranger asks if you have inherited One for All, you will. Torino paused and looked at Izuku, who got the clue and completed the sentence. He said yes. But, I'm very confused. How does this symbol of evil or anyone else know about One for All, and why must I lie that I inherited it? I don't think I'm the right person to tell you this, Torino stated. Then who is? The current holder of One for All, All Might. Well, I'm not forcing you to talk to him. But if you want to sate your curiosity and know more, Gran Torino didn't complete the sentence, but instead gave a you-know-what-to-do face which Izuku easily recognized. Now, why were you so slow today? Compared to the day the USJ was attacked. You said that you need at least 6 seconds to transfer power from one body part to another. Oh, that's because if I shift my power between only 2 parts continuously, the time delay slowly becomes smaller between said until there is a very minuscule delay. Although, the delay comes back once I either deactivate my quirk entirely or I shift the power to a different part. But, it seems that if I continuously oscillate my power between 2 parts of my body, the delay decreases permanently. Before, when I shifted the power from one arm to the other, it would take 6 seconds, but after the fight, it takes 5.7 seconds. Izuku explained. So that means that if you keep on practicing, you'll eventually make the power transfer instantaneous. Gran Torino said, and Izuku nodded. Anyway, do you visualize your power? Visualize? Yeah, you know, making an imaginary scenario to depict your quirk. Trust me, it helps. It may even help with your Jupiter and solar impacts. Okay, I'll think of something. Now, go upstairs, pick any room you like, and change to your hero outfit. We'll have some delicious taiyaki, and then you will train and patrol the streets. Move it. Yes, Sir, Izuku answered, but before he went upstairs, he needed to ask a question. Torino-sensei, how was All Might's training and first year at UA? Ashinori. Well, his training was nothing but extreme physical exercise. He faced far more torture than the others. And since he was very dumb about how to use One for All, his training also had a huge amount of Sorahiko paused and looked up as a memory bubble appeared above his head, showing All Might being an idiot sandwich. Izuku only sweat dropped. He quickly went upstairs and chose one of the rooms. After which he changed into his hero outfit. He then realized how much his and Gran Torino's outfit look alike. With nearly the same color scheme and larger than usual gauntlets and boots. Izuku then came back downstairs where he saw Torino stare at him, and for a split second Izuku thought that he saw a drop of tear coming out from Torino's eyes, but decided that it was probably his imagination. After a quick lunch, they began to patrol the streets. And as they were doing it, Atlas and Torino received a lot of looks and comments from people. Most of them being about how similar the two of them looked, and some surprising comments consisting of Awas and pro-hero family. More surprising was the fact that Atlas didn't get swarmed even once. They kept on patrolling till it was sunset, after which Gran Torino bought a large vegetable backpack. Now, wearing this, Torino said, handing the large backpack to Atlas, who wore it with a questioning look on his face. Soon after, Gran Torino jumped and got into the bag. But Izuku was about to say something, but was cut off by Gran Torino. Your job is to get home, but you will do so by oscillating 20 SP between your legs with each step. Which means you'll direct 20 SP to one of your legs, take a step, and then shift the power to the other. And you'll do it all the way. Atlas knew what Torino meant and immediately began taking steps, all the while oscillating the power from one leg to another and carrying Gran Torino on his back. After about 2 hours, they reached Torino's home, who ordered some food. After having dinner, Torino instructed Izuku to wake up early as they would train again in the morning. Izuku, however, couldn't sleep. He tried twisting and turning for half an hour, but was unable to fall asleep despite walking around the whole day. He knew he had to do something about it. And so Izuku took out his phone and called Faulkner. Hello? Izuku? Yes, sorry to call you this late, no early. Nonsense, did you need something? Yes, actually I have something that I need you to look into. Go on. You know the countries that we have a large influence on? Yeah? I want you to look into their history archives. I want you to look for something related to a symbol of evil and a very dark time of Japan after quirks first showed up. Of course, I'll begin my search from today itself. Thank you, much appreciated. After talking for about 10 minutes. Izuku hung up. Just who is the symbol of evil, and how is he still alive if he was there when quirks first showed up? With that, Izuku fell asleep. The end. Thanks for watching my video, and make sure to check out the author of this fanfic, link is in the description. See you next time, till then sayonara.